I used to be terrified. All right, cool. Okay, it says we're live, y'all, but y'all know how life be life and with me over here. So we're gonna go over on YouTube, hit this little refresh,
Get all
and make
live.
sure we actually live. Okay. And we live. We in there. Not my other sister calling me, but we in here.
Get out of there. It's not their time right now.
Right? It's not your time, baby.
Take your time
Oh my
later,
God,
later.
you guys. So I'm thrilled and excited. This is the Roots Ritual and Real Talk episode of the Carter Love Talk Show here on YouTube. I want to, I always be forgetting to mention my merch. So today I'm wearing my big shirt. As you guys know, if you've been following my journey, I used to have a really bad habit of shrinking myself or hiding away pieces of myself to be loved and accepted. And this is my reminder to be my big whole self. And so that's what the whole collection is all about. And you can find that merch on carterlovellc.com. So today's guest is super, super, super special because this is my little sister. Little sister, little sister.
Hello. Hello.
So of course, y'all know how we met. We in the family, okay? I can't remember a time when she wasn't in my life. So that's how we met.
It's been forever.
Forever.
Yeah.
So, it's, how do I say this? I've always been amazed by you. Like, you have like this certain level of intellect and this way of talking, and I love the way your mind works. And so lately, when we've been connecting, we've been talking a lot about mushrooms. And your sister is a square bear.
Get out
I'm a
of
square bear, but I am
stupidism.
extremely open-minded. I'm just very sheltered, but I'm extremely open-minded. So this business of yours has always been intriguing for me. And so I'm excited to learn more. If you could tell us more about what you do when it comes to mushrooms.
So currently right now, I just like to dabble in growing them and learning them. And then if you want to participate in learning and getting some from me, then I have like an extenuating thing that I like to do. I need to know how you feel on them, how much you took. Did you follow the diagnosis of microdosing? Because a lot of people tend to have like these times where they'll do it with their friends and then they'll like do too much and then they have this terrible experience and they never do it again and it's just awful. So for me it's all about like just informing people on how like mind opening it is. Like it's more than just a drug. It's not a drug if you think about it in the terms of drugs. Like you have to think about like Tylenol is a drug and stuff like that, and you still take that. So it's like you have to think about it in a term that it can help you if you understand how much you're taking and have someone that's willing to like explain and go through that with you. And so that's something like I like to do. Like I'm learning still about it, and like my mind is just kind of like being blown every day by gourmet mushrooms, regular mushrooms that you find in the forest. Like currently the mushroom you see on my sweater here, the Amanita mushroom, like we see mushrooms everywhere we go. So it's always been something I've been like super interested in. And then I just started growing, and then I had a coworker who was like super interested in it as well. And that helped a lot because they were willing to like go deep diving with me into like learning about mushrooms and then growing and the trials and the errors. And so currently now I'm just growing gourmet mushrooms. I've attended a few workshops so that I can like get some bags and learn the basics of it from not just a psychedelic standpoint, but more of like a health standpoint as well, because those are also super helpful. So that's kind of where I'm at now, to where I want to expand on my knowledge before I like completely just jump out there and just start like handing stuff out to people. But my goal in all is to, if I get into like a serious like where I'm selling gourmet and stuff, is I want to give pamphlets and like informational books and stuff like that. And then like just like little notebooks and stuff like that where you can write your experiences and stuff like that. Because I've had some serious fun experience, some serious wild thoughts. And being glad that I had like a pen and a paper next to me was
Yes.
awesome because I was able to like write stuff down that I was like, dang, I really didn't think about that. And it just really expands your mind past like hallucinogenic and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's more of like you feel like your feelings and emotions, and it's like it's attacking more of those things, and attack is like lack of a better words, but yeah, it's different. So my goal is to eventually like garnish a business that I can not only inform people, but take those people who like yourself, who's a little square bear, who never tried it or had a bad experience, and I want you to be able to come and enjoy it
Yeah.
in food and enjoy it in its psychosylin form, and
Yes.
enjoy it in those aspects where you're kind of like, okay, I understand now. Like this is something that's been on the earth for thousands of years.
Exactly. Exactly.
So that's kind of like for a long explanation, more
No,
so
that's
what I want to
beautiful.
do.
Because
Yeah.
girl, what I'm hearing is a subscription box with a little
Yes,
notebook and a
yeah.
little dosage and a little
Festivals, like
information.
where you can go and you can just do fun things, like because I know when I like to take mushrooms and stuff like that, and I like microdosing the mushrooms. I love water, and I'm not like super big on swimming in it, but I like touching it. I like being in it. It just feels really good. It feels different than normal when I'm taking a shower or something like that. So it's like different things like that. Like it opens up different experiences for
Yes.
you that you normally wouldn't have, or certain things that you take for advantage. You're like, oh my God, this rain is amazing type of thing. And
Yes.
it's just like sensations that it brings out. So that's kind of like my take on it. And then
Yes.
more trying to dive into like the scientific side of it and how it really interacts with your body, and just kind of goes along with that fact.
So what was your first experience? Like what was like, oh, I'm gonna try this out, and then like you tried it out and your experience was what? And then what made you like, you know what, I'm gonna dive deeper.
So I am like you, sister, a square bear. Square as square as they come. I only do what comes out of the dirt. So, for me, I never wanted to because like pops, dad always like drugs is bad.
Yes.
He put all this extra on it. So for a long time, I just didn't partake in anything. And then I had a friend who was willing. Her name's Stacy. She was willing to like explain it to me,
Yes.
and she personally was like, participating in like growing them, and she was willing to sit down and explain to me like what I was taking, how much was in it, like the properties of it. And that to me was even more like I don't even think she understands like how much like I appreciate her
Yeah.
in that
Yeah.
small, like she didn't even know like what she was doing, but it was just the way she took the time and the care to explain what it was, and kind of take away that stigmatism of like this is a wrong fact, like this isn't
Yes.
actually how. I'm a person that currently like is involved with putting this process from start to finish in the works, and this is the fruit of my labor, so here you go. And it's like, okay, like when you take it from that spec, it's like, okay, I
Yeah.
can enjoy this. I can evolve in this. And then my first experience, I was microdosing, so I didn't take that much, and it was
Yeah.
just like
Okay.
I'm already super energetic and like super animated. So it's kind of like I was just like everything was just like floating, and it just seemed so nice.
Yeah.
And I remember it as just being like a really chill experience. It wasn't the experience I was hearing from other people where they were like, "Oh my God, I
Yes.
was seeing colors," and I was not seeing colors. I was not
Yes.
seeing anything because I didn't take enough past my threshold. Like eventually, you learn your limitations and what you can take to get you to that point, and different mushrooms that might
Yes.
hold a little bit more psilocybin in it, so that it might push you more to that limit of seeing those things in your body, kind of taking on more of those aspects. But outside of that, I did not have that. And since I didn't have that, I was like, well, this can't be that bad. Like,
Yeah.
come on.
Yeah,
Like,
that's good though. I'm glad that your first experience was that.
yeah.
So for me, I was under the impression because like anything could be abused, right?
Yeah.
Alcohol, weed, the shrooms that can all be abused. So I always assumed, right? Here you are assuming. I
Mhm.
always assumed
Three letters
that
in the front of assume. No.
anyways, I I always assumed that it was people's way of escaping, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? Because a lot of people don't use weed medicinally. They
Yeah.
can,
Yeah.
but they go too far,
They
right? And
take
so
it,
then it's
yeah, they
like
take it
they need to know
but
who's
yeah.
talking.
I think when it comes to mushrooms is because you can have like that, and this is again from a personal experience, not saying from other people, and this is just from other people sharing their experience with me, that like once you have that bad experience, you don't want no more.
Yeah.
You don't want no more. So it's like really hard to get addicted to it because like you have this like experience where you're like, I don't want to go through that no more. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
you know, like I don't want to do that no more. This hurt my stomach. I didn't do it right. I didn't, you know, like I didn't take care of myself in the process. I was just kind of like getting out of hand. And those are for those people who want to make it an addictive property. And that's the benefit of
yeah.
what the good Lord is putting on this earth. This ain't addictive. You can't. You
Yeah,
can't.
yeah. And I think that that's the thing too is the education. So I love that that's your target because the reality is what I've heard before talking to you about it and I have a few other friends I've talked to about it is yeah, we're going on a trip and we're going to hallucinate and I'm like what
You do be going on a little trip in your favorite rocket ship.
yes, I'm aware of that, right? So I have a friend and she's very into like a lot of, I'm a natural girly, she's a natural girly, but she's tried those things, right?
Yeah.
And so she went to a retreat where they were doing not
Yeah.
not just the shrooms, but other things,
Oh,
and then it was like um dang, I can't think of the name of what it's called, but it's like I think it's like a Indian ritual. So you have to be at a
okay.
resort and do that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Um, and so we were talking about it, and she was talking about the spirituality behind it. And then I have another friend, and he was inviting me to do the shrooms with him, and I was like, I don't think I'm ready for that yet. But then he explained to
Good
me, like you
decision.
said, that of course you microdose, you don't just go crazy. And
Mhm.
you go on a little trip, but it doesn't have to be
Extreme.
what
Yeah,
everyone
it doesn't
keeps
have to be
talking about,
extreme. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I feel like not enough people are talking about the benefit, you know what I mean?
It's
Or
too
the
many people
connection.
that's had bad experiences. Too many people have had those experiences or heard from another person, from another person, from another person, and then that instantly turns you off to it, and you're just kind of like, well, what do I do? You know,
Yeah,
how do I enjoy something that sounds so scary? And it's like I was that person. I'm as square as they come. I don't touch anything else. So it's very much like when you think about it, it's like this has been on the earth for thousands of
yeah,
years. It's
yeah,
something that not only comes in a hallucinogenic, but you transfer over into gourmet mushrooms. Like we are in a society now, we're eating so much processed food and so much animals and all of these other things. And we have these various mushrooms out there that can serve the same purpose, but
exactly.
we're not paying enough attention to it. We're not foraging like we used to. Like I follow this girl on Instagram named Black Forager, and she goes into like detailing about how like even us as African Americans, like how we used to forage and how we used to
Yeah,
take on that initiative, and that used to be a part of our culture. So that's something also that like really spoke to me and got me more into mushrooms as well. So I was like, okay, I'm supposed to be doing this. Like this is
yes,
me. Like this is in my blood. This is why I like this. So
yes,
I'm like, okay, so now I forage and I want to tell people like, get out there and like explore nature, like see it for what it is. Like you don't gotta eat everything, not everything's dangerous, but read a book, like read about it first. Like you
yes,
hear something bad about it, go back and Google it. Like if you ask any of my friends, anybody who knows me who's watching this, like I am queen of you tell me something, I'm gonna go Google that and I'm gonna go research that real quick, just in case you lying, just in
yeah.
case you're telling a lie.
Or
So
you didn't go back and research it, so you're
yeah.
you're passing along false information without being intentionally doing it, but you doing it.
Yeah, so for me,
Yeah,
it's like I'm not big on sharing false information. Like you said, when you had reserves about wanting to do mushrooms, the first time someone tells me they don't want to try it, I immediately back off. And it's more like, okay, pump the information of this is what it's like, this is what it is. And if you ever want to try it with someone who's safe and who has a lot of information and knows what to do when it comes to like you tripping out, like because there's times where people will trip out and do too much and have an awful experience because they're around people who don't know how to handle those situations. So it's
mhm,
also like I think it's important around being around the right people and being
yes,
comfortable with the right people. So
exactly.
like the fact that you mentioned like you got the information and you felt some comfort in him sharing that. Like that just makes me feel so happy because like that's all mushrooms is
Yes.
information. It's
Yes. Yes. And I
information.
think, yeah, and I think for me, learning about it in that way, because we when we talk about it, it's at a party, so we don't have time to sit and talk about it.
Yeah,
So we
and go
haven't
in
had
depth.
this opportunity to have this exchange.
Yeah.
And so for me, like I see these things, like you said, as tools that nature has given us,
Yeah.
and but before I wasn't able to see it in that way because I see so many people just abusing it, you know what I mean,
Misuse it.
instead of
Yeah.
utilizing it as just another added tool, another thing
Yes,
added
to
to their
life.
lifestyle. Yeah.
Yes. That's supposed to
Yeah.
it's been here. When I say it's been here for 1,000 years, like I mean like currently to this day, you walk on mycelium every single day. Mycelium is how our plants and our trees are connecting and they talk to each other. So it's
Yes.
like that's how important mushrooms are. Like even past a drug usage, it's just important to our ecosystem,
Yes.
period. Like they were here when we didn't have anything and we needed the world to be to we didn't have animals and stuff like that that could digest and break down stuff. We had mushrooms ruled the world for thousands of years
Yeah.
because they simply have so many jobs. There's so many variations. They are like literally their own kingdom. Like
Yes.
they are literally their own kingdom. They're their own thing. They have their own setup. They're not a part of the animal kingdom. They're not a part of our ecosystem. They're not a part of any of that. Like it's their own thing. So when you really start diving into that and like the movie or the catalyst that really like punched me in the face was I happened to come across while I was watching on mushrooms this Netflix documentary called Fantastic Fungi.
Uh-huh.
And it was just mind blowing. Watching mushrooms grow and hyper, or whatever you call it, the hyperlapse videos is an experience. And
Yes.
if you want a good experience, I would say do that, and then throw on like some smooth jazz or something like that, and it's the best experience you ever have. Listen to me.
Yes.
But yeah, that documentary really kind of like opened my eyes because it explained mushrooms not only as a psychedelic situation or food source, but just as like how it powers our earth and how it works with our environment and how it's being used today to forward us past, agriculture and using animal livestock and growing us past that. And that's kind of like even what I kind of dived into when I started in my new job now that I work in biotechnology. Like that's a whole world that's
Yeah.
utilizing mushrooms and doing that. And I see that that is our future. Is our
Yes.
our future is our past, if you'd like to say. And our past has
Yes.
always been mushrooms.
Yes, that's awesome, girl. Look, I'm
Yeah,
about to be watching that documentary
I tell
because I
people
love
watch it.
that.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
really big on
fantastic
learning
fun
the
though.
science behind things. Like I like
Yeah.
to know how it impacts the body and what the
Mhm.
nervous system and this and
Yeah.
that. And it just kind of I just like to be in the know, because I
Yes,
feel like
yes,
it's
yes.
it's better for me. I feel like then that way I know how to utilize it for me. Because like you said, other people they could be misusing it, and so they're passing along not good.
Misinformation. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Everybody's different when it comes to mushrooms. There are so many variations out there. So I'm not saying go out there and try everything, but that's where I'd like to say I come in because
Yes,
where I would like my business to transfer to is, if you're writing your experiences down and stuff like that, I would love you to give this information back to me. And then we can utilize this information together to give to other people so then they share and hear these experiences and maybe they are like yourself or a like-minded person like yourself and they might share the same experiences, so then we start diving more in that
yes,
aspect of things to where it's like now we're going on experiences, we're going on the science of things, we're not crossing or doing crazy stuff like they're doing right now with cannabis. Like we're going with what nature has already given us and it's
yes,
strong as heck. So it's like let's kind of go with that now and experience that because again, like I can't say it enough, it's been here for so long. It's like why am I so scared of something that's been here for so long? And again, it's because stigmatisms have attached themselves to it and misinformation has been spread, and then you
yes,
lose the sight on wanting to go and do the information because you've heard so much that
exactly,
was wrong. And so you're like,
Exactly.
well, what's the point of me going when everybody is saying
Yes.
this one
And I
thing?
feel that too. And honestly, I feel like sometimes we just take on information as fact, right? So
Yeah.
like you said, you go and do the research. We also have to know ourselves, right? So I know I have this and this, so I need to figure out which mushroom is best for me in my situation,
Yeah.
right? Or maybe I need to work with someone like you and a nutritionist or and my doctor to figure out what's best for me. It's not We're not saying you guys go dive in, like you said, go do
Yeah, like,
everything, try everything once. We're
yeah.
saying do the research, know yourself, and then
Mhm.
figure out what works best for you. And if this is not what's for you, that's cool
It's
too, boo.
not for you. Like in mushrooms is maybe trying the hallucinogenic type is not for you, or the magic
Yeah,
mushrooms per se is not for you. But diving into gourmet mushrooms and seeing the benefits of that, and like the most common mushroom known as lion's mane, which
yeah,
helps
I
with
take it.
which helps with irritable bowel syndrome. Like a lot of people out there got bubble guts.
Yeah, it
Take
helps
a
with
little.
focus too. I
Yeah,
use it for
so it's
focus.
like things
Mhm.
like that people aren't realizing are keys out there that you could be utilizing rather than trying to run to your doctor. No one, I'm not saying don't go to your doctor if you're feeling an ailment, but also understand that these are supplements that you could be taking that could also be helping you if you just took a little time to do the research. And I'm not meaning
Exactly.
go on WebMD or like Google and just Google the first thing. I mean like actually take some time, research, read articles, read stuff that has fact behind it, cite source. Like I'm super big on
Exactly.
that. Cite your
Yes.
sources. If you can go back and see where they got this information
Yep.
from and you can just keep following the trail, that's the rabbit hole that I follow. It's like I just
Yeah,
keep following how you got this
exactly.
information and how this is, and eventually you'll come to a understanding, a better understanding of what it is you're taking, have a better like judgment call on if you want to do it or how much you
Yeah.
want to take it, because now you're not walking into something blind or based off of someone's, you know, in a party aspect. Like you were like,
Yeah.
oh well, no, like I think that's why I've been able for I didn't try mushrooms until I think I was like 20, 21.
Mhm. Mhm.
So and it was because I was like so strong-minded and like, no, I've heard so much, no. And then I
Yeah.
finally had that person sit down, and it was always in a party aspect where it was like, oh, take this, try this. And it's like,
Yes.
no,
Yes.
you no. And this person actually, it was more of like a chill setting. We were all just hanging out with a couple friends, and it was like, hey, do you want to try this? And then explanation came from it. And it was like, you don't have to try it, girl, if you don't want to. Um,
Yes.
and that's where it was like, okay, like the comfort level came in. It was
Yes.
no peer pressure. It was just like, okay, let me take the message and receive it, and then let me do
Yes.
something with it if I want to. So
Yes.
yeah, that's mushrooms
Exactly.
for me. It really makes me happy.
Yes, and that's awesome because um like you said, there's so many mushrooms. People just automatically think hallucinogenics.
Hmm.
And that there's so many. Like I said, I take lion's mane. I used to do the reishi, is it reishi or reishi?
Rishi, I
Reishi,
believe.
yeah. I used to use that one. There's a blend that they blend it with maca root and ashwagandha, and I used to
Mhm.
make hot cocoa out of that. And it was calming. I needed it for my PTSD and my depression. So I
Yes,
use it.
yes, it helps with anxiety, depression. Like there, those for those people who don't like cannabis and don't want to participate in the various different cannabinoids that are out there in the world that you should totally look into outside of THC. When it comes to mushrooms, yes, like there is science behind them, like not curing, but being a ailment and a help towards
Mm,
your anxiety and depression and bringing that down. That's where microdosing comes in and
yes.
understanding what that means, and that you don't need to take a gram or this, like understanding your body. And a lot of people, I think we don't grow up to understand our body. Like we don't grow up
Mhm.
to understand the various things that we should be eating. We learn about the food groups and all of that stuff,
Yeah.
but it's like, no, like I should really be more in tune with my body outside of
Yeah.
anatomy class. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And learning my
Yeah.
bones and stuff like that. Like we
Yeah.
should learn different herbs and stuff like that to be taking. But at this point, I'm just happy to hear that you are participating in any various forms of
Yeah.
mushrooms. It's like
Yes.
that's the start.
Yes, and I'm like I said, I'm excited to dive deeper into the knowledge because I'm a holistic girly. I have 4 mental illnesses. I have PCOS, which is a hormone imbalance, and I have PTSD. I have depression and anxiety, and I treat everything holistically. So I use ashwagandha, I use, the mushrooms, I use herbs. I'm a big herbal girly. I love using herbs for everything. But I'm all about holistic things, but I'm very spiritual. And so I know that there's also a spiritual connection when it comes to going on these trips, you know what I mean? And so I feel like being able to see it from that perspective, because like I said, I was always seeing it as escaping
Yeah.
because that was what was presented to me. And I do feel like it is used as a form of escape, but it doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
And so it's just been exciting to learn more and to
And
add.
escaping doesn't have to be a bad thing in a
Yeah.
sense, because in a sense you could be escaping into realizing things of
Yes.
yourself and escaping into yourself. Like some
Yes.
people don't do
That's
that
true.
enough. So to me, I like to say let the escape. I trigger with the word you're on a trip, because
Yeah.
that's usually where you see people like just take it all over the place, because trip is also like, with other hallucinogenics and other drugs out there where people start to trip out and stuff like that. So I tend to get a little bit more, not say triggered when people talk about it, but more like, I wouldn't
Yeah.
participate. Yeah, just a little
Yeah.
more, because it's like, I
That's
don't.
what I do, especially when it comes to like psychology and people have all these like opinions. I'd be like, I
I
can't say
go,
nothing unless they tell me to say something because I
you
gotta.
do you do you, whatever works.
Yeah. What the old people say, to each their own.
To each their own, baby. To each their own.
And I'm really big on changing the perspective on words. So I like that you said an escape is not an issue. For me, I used to suppress. And so that was how I looked at escaping. But like you said, escaping doesn't have to be a negative thing. And that's what my friend was telling me. He was saying that because you feel everything and your intuition begins to speak to you when you go on these trips, you form a deeper connection with yourself.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, damn, I need to do that because I've been
You
connecting with myself
you
through
love you
self-love.
more. I like to say
Yeah,
you love you a little bit more, and that's not
yeah,
selfish, that's just giving.
yeah. And I was like, okay, well, I might have to do this thing because I've been getting to know myself through like not trying those things, right? Through,
Mhm.
working out, dancing,
Yeah.
journaling, stuff like that. And so I've reached a really good level of connecting with myself and knowing who I am and loving myself. And I say, you know what, this might be the next step.
Shoulder shimmy, yes.
I need a next step, okay? That's
Yes.
my level up.
Yes, just
Let's
come
let's
on.
unlock the big, okay?
Come on, big star. Come on over. Come on over
Let's
to
just
the
go
light
unlock
side. Come
it.
on over to the light side. I like to tell people, do all of those wonderful things, work out, enjoy yourself. Mushrooms is a helping hand, a tool, like
Yes,
you
it's
said. It is a
adding.
tool. And if it's not a tool that you want to use, because sometimes you in a toolbox, you like, this one, I don't like the way this handle feel.
Yeah,
That might be your story when it comes to mushrooms, and I'm okay with that. But I always like people to say, inform yourself about it. Don't ever just
exactly.
say you don't like mushrooms or you don't like this. Like if you don't like the taste, I get it. I get it, because I have that issue. Like I have a fight every day of my life with the taste of mushrooms and finding various ways. But that's also something I want to explore in,
Yeah,
because I'm like, I know I don't like the taste of mushrooms, but I know that there's these things that I do, and I've explained to other people, if
yes,
you want to eat, raw mushrooms, like, hey, this is what I tend to do to make them like a little bit more palatable to me, but it's not necessarily something you might like. But again,
yeah,
try it out. Here you go. Here's this information, because again, when I'm now looking on the internet and stuff like that, there's a lot of information, but it's so spread
yeah,
out and it's
yeah,
on message boards. And so I just
yeah,
want to become like a central
hub.
area for it,
Mhm.
where it's almost like a Webster, like come along
Yes,
friend on this journey, or like a Mr. Rogers, come into my neighborhood vibe,
yes,
where you just
yes,
see my various mushrooms and we learn together type of
yes,
energy. Yeah.
yes. And I love that so much because not there's so much power and knowledge, and a lot of people they don't they're afraid to dive into it, or like that the funnels that you go, the rabbit hole that you go through, some people that overwhelms them, so they
Yeah.
need a guide, and you're their guide, you
Because
know,
I'd
they
be
need that.
currently overwhelmed. I'd be like, okay, this is a lot of information. So then I just rather get out there and trial and error. And then you don't want to do that because somebody's already did the hard work for
Yeah,
you. But it's
yeah,
so hard to like source that information. And then I'm kind of one of those people where I'm like, I don't like to follow the trend. So if it's a
yeah,
popular website, then I tend not to gravitate towards it just
yeah,
because I'm like, well, then I won't find the experience. I won't find the journey. I won't find me in somebody
yeah,
else's, built journey. But then
yeah,
I also will still involve myself in that because I'm like, again, they have absorbed a lot of knowledge I can take from this and I can learn from this and then I can grow and
yes,
actually inform people and tell people about going to like mushroom workshops. Like they're all over Facebook. Like if you ever just want
yeah,
to learn about regular gourmet mushrooms, like there's this mushroom website called Spawns Shroom Mushrooms.
uh-huh,
And I go to their workshops quite a bit. I've grown mushrooms. I grew this one and then I accidentally let it grow into something it shouldn't have. So I had to take it off and I dipped it in resin. And
uh-huh.
so
Oh my goodness, it's
so
beautiful.
yeah, it's just a little it's a large mushroom, but it's in
Yeah.
resin now. And then I put gold on it to make it fancy. But
Oh,
like
it's so
again,
beautiful.
mushrooms is art. It's
Yeah,
it's it's anything that you want it to be. You don't gotta eat them. You can do whatever. Like, I just like to tell people, inform yourself, like, even outside of mushrooms, just on anything that you're
yeah,
participating in or you wanna participate in. Like, if somebody's, ragging on you for wanting to go back and actually do some research and read some stuff and just not take their word for it, then you should probably, not take their word for it because it's
yeah,
like, I'm queen of when somebody's like, "Well, I'm gonna look it up.
yes.
Look it
Do
up.
it, please.
Please, please."
No, exactly. Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. And I love that so much because that's what I've just been learning is that sometimes people would rather just choose to believe what they want to believe because they don't want to do the work. And
Yes.
that's what I've experienced when it comes to um psychology, right? When it comes to healing, when it comes to getting to know yourself, because that means you have to undig some stuff. And people just want the quick fix, and I think that that's also why people turn to medication, because all those chemicals are made to be an instant fix,
Yeah.
but they're also causing other problems.
Mhm.
So I work when I talk with my therapist and when I talk with my doctor, I always let them know I'm not doing medication. So, we can do the research together. Or I can do it by myself and we can talk about it. But this is what
Yeah.
I'm doing, And my doctor. She's very aware of it. My therapist is the same way. She did still try to get me to do the antidepressants, but I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Um, and again, to each their own. You do what's
Yes.
best for you in your life circumstances, but I needed to do what was best for me.
Yeah.
And so that's why I've been kind of thinking more about this, because it's just there's levels. There's
Yeah.
levels that of myself that I want to unlock that I feel like my inner child is blocking me from because she's afraid. You know what I mean? And I still have to
Yeah.
make sure she feels safe because she's still living this body. Okay.
Mhm.
So I
Yes,
feel like, you
exactly.
know,
You
so
gotta
I'm
make sure
like,
little Deshae God is all right back
yeah,
there.
look, baby girl, it's all right. We're gonna be all
We
right,
go but we about to go on this ride real
Right,
quick. Just hold on.
right. Just get in your car seat. Buckle up.
Yeah. Buckle up.
Buckle up. You got your snacks? Okay.
Yes.
So what is one of the we have talked a lot about the trips, right? That's like people having bad trips, and that's the one of the negative stigmas. But is there another um negative misconception that you are hearing that you would hope that people would unlearn?
That they're nasty. They're not all nasty. Not
Mm-hmm.
all mushrooms. Shiitake mushroom, you fry them babies up. Okay, like they're not all nasty. Get out there, like and this is coming from somebody who forces my friends to try things for me and then give me a detailed description of it. And if I don't like their description or their description words, I don't want it. So
Yeah.
for me, it's like, okay, if I'm telling you, and I just told you that, like I force people to try my stuff before I try it, just to ensure that I'm all right and that it tastes
Yeah.
good. But if I'm telling you, like, get out there and try various mushrooms, it's the stigma. It's the stigma that it's nasty and
Yeah.
that they're not they all taste the same. They don't. There's some out there that really do taste like chicken. Like I think there is one that's literally called chicken of the woods, and it
Okay.
tastes and it like when you break it up and when you cut it, it looks like meat when you fry it up and you fry it
Okay.
like there's a lot of variation in it and a lot of variation in taste. And if you actually get out there and get out there in the woods and get out there in some nature and put your phone down, you would experience these things and you would know it because again, I'm very picky. I'm a very picky eater. I don't eat anything. I don't like macaroni and cheese. I don't like watermelon. I don't like cantaloupe. I don't like nothing. Like I
Yeah.
don't like nothing. So if I'm telling you mushrooms are good, like trust. Trust
Yeah.
and believe. Like that's the one I'm gonna harp on until I die. Like get out there
Yes.
and try you some variations. I know that's not as extreme as the psychosilic one, but that's one I will get up on a hill and die on. Like mushrooms are good if you get out there and you try the variations,
Yeah.
go to farmers markets and really start experiencing those different mushrooms out there because you might blow your mind and you might change your diet and not even know it and slim down and didn't even know it.
Okay. Yes, and honestly, I'm gonna need. We're gonna have to talk after this because I'm gonna need a list because I don't know if you know I went meatless in March. Um, so I
Sorry.
went meatless. Listen, it froze a little bit. I don't know if that was a good facial expression or a bad one. This is what I saw.
It took me back, and then I had to catch myself. 'Cause I saw myself on camera. I was like, "Fix your face, girl. Fix your face." I'm so sorry,
Fix
but
your face.
but meatless can you?
Yeah, I went
Wow.
meatless. Because, I've always, as a child, I've always felt very connected to animals. And I always felt like, okay, so, Bible said we have dominion over animals, all the things, whatever. But I just always felt like humans are just so fucking disrespectful. Because how are you going to just be out here killing animals and doing, mistreating animals? And then you got them all in the damn zoos and shit. You know what I mean? They're
No,
your entertainment and.
no. Okay, when you think of that, we are monsters. We are monsters. But when you think on the aspect of like eating them, I mean, in my personal opinion,
Yeah.
I'm a meat eater.
Yeah. I
But
mean, I was a meat eater too.
hear me out. I'm a meat eater in the sense of I feel like we're at a point in our society, like humanity all across the board, where we are just over consuming.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
there's a level of like we can enjoy meat because this is the circle of life, and hey, this guy gonna die
Oh,
anyways,
yeah.
and type of energy, and that's kind of like where if when you get and again, it's the ADHD in me. When you think of like Native Americans and how like they were like very spiritual and very
Yeah.
connected to animals, but they still participated and they still ate
Yeah.
meat because they understood like you still respect the sanctity of the death of that
Exactly.
animal because it's a life.
Exactly.
I think
Exactly.
where we come in is like we're over consuming so much that we've just completely had to throw that aspect of it out
Yeah.
and giving animals that dignity of
Yeah.
not dying in fear and believing that they
Yeah.
don't have fear. Because
Yeah.
I totally believe that. Like I totally believe animals have feelings and all
Of
of those things.
course.
But
Of course. Exactly. And that's why I made the transition. And I do think about the Native Americans. So when I was doing my transition before I know this might sound silly to some people, but before when I would eat meat on so I transitioned slowly, right? So first I just I cut out other meats, but I just did seafood. And then if I was weak and I needed to eat the meat, I would eat the meat, but I would thank it for its sacrifice. Like I just felt like that was necessary because it made me feel good and it made me think about the fact that this was a living creature. You know what I mean? And so that's how I look at it. I do agree that we have overdone it, right?
You
They're
know what?
pumping it with
I will
chemicals
add
and
to that, as I do not personally eat chicken skin because I feel really bad. So
yeah.
to say that,
That's how I feel about eggs. I'm
I
like,
literally peel the chicken skin, and it's the best. And everyone says it's the best part. I'll never
yeah,
know because personally, in my heart, I have that same sentiment. Like, I mean, I could eat your meat because I'm an animal and this is what I'm supposed to do, but your
yeah,
skin,
circle of
that's low
life.
key,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's low key disrespectful. At least the animals have the audacity to rip it away and go for the meat. But me, I'm just gonna eat your skin too because I seasoned it. Like,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I give that to you as well. Like, I feel the same way. Like, I don't eat chicken skin or any type of skin on anything if it's a meat product because I have that guilt of
Yeah.
you probably
Yeah.
was.
For me, for a long time, it started with eggs. I'm a mom. I know a egg is the baby chicken. I'm just out here killing this woman's chicken because I decided I
Fertilized
want
yet.
an
It
egg.
ain't fertilized yet. That's all I have. That's my
No,
mark.
that's what I said. It's a me thing.
Yeah.
Everyone chooses their own journey. And for me, that's my conviction. So
Yeah.
like you said, it is the circle of life, like you said, and people are overdoing it. They're also mistreating the animals before they're,
Yeah.
doing the cycle. So that's the other thing for me. It was being after I did do it because I chose to do it because of my connection to animals. After that, I did feel more grounded in myself, and I felt like that was because I wasn't consuming their hormones, because I do have with PCOS, I have a hormone imbalance. So I keep my hormones in check by my diet and my workout. So and maintaining my stress levels. So here I am doing all that, but then you add meat into that, and now I'm eating their hormones, and then their hormones are messed up because even more because they, the
Yeah.
GMOs and this and that,
Because they over there going through it. Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, it works for me. You know what I mean? And again,
Yeah.
we all have to do what works for us. So, but I keep hearing that mushrooms are a good substitute, for that. My friend was like, I'm gonna use a real meaty mushroom. And I never heard of a mushroom as a meaty thing. And I said,
'Cause
okay, girl.
they could be thick. They could be thick. Like if you ever seen on TikTok, I don't have TikTok, but I see it on Facebook. They had this puffball trend where people had puffballs growing in their yard, and they're
Uh-huh.
really like big, thick,
Wow.
meaty type mushrooms that if you like fry it up like you would fry up any other meat and stuff like that, and you ate it, it'd be just as good. So
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
puffball mushrooms is something that I even recently had seen on TikTok. Like mushrooms are taking on a trend recently, but it's again like if you're looking for a good meaty mushroom, that's something I've seen people participate in. I
Yeah.
personally don't like the texture, but that is me, and there are
Yeah.
other mushrooms for me to participate in.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah, I understand that too. Yeah. So honestly, she's a good cook. I'm gonna let her explore that, and then she can give me the recipe. That's how I'm
Exactly.
gonna do that one.
Exactly.
So other than research, for people who are curious, so we talked about research being a main thing to do, but also having a safe space. What's one other thing people should do before diving into this?
You're like you said, I personally just think it's having a mindset of wanting
Mhm.
to do it, not feeling pressured to do it
Yes.
or feeling like you want to do it because it's a trend or everybody else
Mhm.
is doing it and I'm not doing it, so now I feel behind and blah blah blah.
Yes.
Everyone's having these experiences and I'm not. Like, don't go into
Yes.
anything with that mindset because then it's just gonna be a, for lack of better words, craptastic
Yeah.
experience for you where
Yeah.
you're not
What's
gonna
your motive?
know. Yeah, like you're not gonna know what you want out of the experience if you're not having the mindset to say, okay, like I'm doing this because I want to have an experience. I've done the work to understand what I'm putting into my body, which is something that we all should like take a little bit more consideration into.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, what am I putting into my body? Not just in mushrooms, but just in general. But if as we're focusing on mushrooms, that's my kind of like P's and Q's to it, my points and my questions to people is like, if you're gonna do mushrooms, do you actually want to do mushrooms?
Yes,
Or
yes,
are you just doing it because you've heard so many people talking about it? Like, if you've never actually really wanted to pick up a mushroom and eat it, like, why are you bothering with it now? Like,
yes, yes,
like, but if you hear other people talking about it and you're like, okay, like that sounds interesting. And then you go and you do your own research and you're like, and then you find your interest in it and then you find it. I never want anyone to try something because I peer pressured them into it or
yeah,
because they thought I was cool.
because you
And,
are.
and yes, thought, thought I was cool and decided that they wanted to try it because, like, no, I want you to try it because you heard me, you heard the information, you felt comfortable with what you were hearing, and then you chose yourself to go back and do your own research and your own work. And I know that sounds like a lot, but you chose to do that, and then
Yeah,
you got your experience. But if you
yeah,
don't have that, like that's for me is like the biggest thing is like don't do anything or don't specifically do mushrooms because it that has been the major killer of everyone's experience is you went
mhm,
into it not really wanting to do it and then you did too much and then you had this really extreme experience and then you
yeah,
never want to do it again and then you go on telling every friend that you know how bad mushrooms are and then the cycle continues. So for me
yeah,
it's like don't do anything, don't specifically mushrooms in the specifics of the conversation, like don't do anything if you're not willing and not interested in it actually, you're not willing to actually go do the research behind
mm,
it, you're not willing to sit there and be in the moment and be in the experience,
yes,
don't do it. Like make a safe decision based on like I'm not going to do this because I'm not in a safe space. Like I have a lot of friends who are like, "Oh, I want to go do it at my house or in my room or something like that. Like I don't want to do mushrooms out and about because you hear a lot of people tell them, "Go do mushrooms in nature."
yeah,
And it's
yeah,
like, no, that can really freak somebody out. Or like me earlier, where I was like, I like mushrooms and I like to go in water. Like again,
mhm,
like that, like it's if it's not something you want to do, don't pressure yourself into doing it because you're in an experience or you're in a place where you hear people are having these fantastical moments and stuff like that. Because again, you might not have that experience. You might
yes,
not have that moment. It might not be like that for you. You might not see those same things. I have friends who tell me all the time they've never seen colors or
yeah,
things like that. And I tell them you probably didn't take enough, but
yeah.
that's
And I said,
good. Like,
do
yeah,
what you
that's good. Like you didn't, but you enjoyed the experience, right? And they're
yeah,
like, yeah. And it's like, that's what you want. You don't want to get to a point where you're like, oh, I need to see colors. Go get a crayon box if you need to see colors. Like,
know what you said.
like pump your brakes, pop. Like, we don't need to see all that. Like enjoy the experience of what it's actually giving you, but don't do something or don't go into the experience if it's not something that you actually want to have.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
like that's like I'm gonna nail that in the coffin. Like do
yeah.
not do it if it's not something that you actually want to do. Like
Exactly, exactly. Check your motive. Check your
yes,
motive.
like what is the yes, what is the motivation behind doing it? Is it doing it because you
Mhm.
like somebody, doing it because you like, I've always wanted to try this. For me, it
Yeah,
was like I had always had a small inkling and interest in it, but the stigma of our father and the it's gonna
yeah,
kill you and type of
yeah,
energy was like, okay, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna dabble in this. And then getting that
yeah,
experience of having a friend take the time and explain it to me, and then having like my coworker, like my old coworker, like take the time and like go into the research with me and like dive in and
yeah,
start growing with me. Like I don't think he understands like how much like that really amplified my need and desire to want to grow and teach people and stuff like that because it was just like he found the same interest that I did and then was able to push me and motivate me towards
yeah.
wanting it to be a business and to educate people on it because he would find random things and then send it to me and it was like dang that's a good article and it's like okay now we're like compiling all of this information
Yes,
together and then we're able to like grow and we did grow and have these like cool batches and stuff like that. So for me it was like I was able to find different ways to grow and different ways to like to batch it and explain it to people and
yes,
then the experience of trying to figure out like how much is in something so that you can explain that to people and dosages and different various things. So like I'd like to give him a bow as well. Like thank you so much for your contributions to
contribution.
my knowledge. Yeah, because
Yes,
it helped a lot in making me like I'm going to one day take over the world with mushrooms. It's not just going to be Super Mario.
Yeah,
I'm going to come.
she's coming.
Yes,
Yeah,
I'm coming.
I love that too, and I like it because again for me, I'm black people are proud people, okay,
Yes,
honey.
yes,
And
we
so
are.
I would pride myself
I didn't
on
like that. Sorry. There we go. It wasn't
I would
strong enough.
I would pride myself on doing things naturally, but mushrooms are natural, right? And I was afraid because I spent so much time suppressing that I would find something that would make it easier for me to suppress, you know. And I'm like, I've made so much progress by facing this stuff. I don't want to run away from it. But then when it was introduced to me as something that wouldn't be running away from it, I was like, oh, I never thought about it like that, you know?
You ain't running, you experiencing what was
Yes,
already on the earth. And
yes.
there's a
And
lot,
so,
and that's saying a lot because there's a lot of stuff on the earth that's not meant for us to for our consumption
yeah,
and will do wild stuff to you at the same time. But it's like this here is its own kingdom. It's
yeah,
different in that type of conversation where it is a different experience. And there are a ton of mushrooms that you're not supposed to, the amanitas being one of the mushrooms that we most see most like most openly. But at the end of the day, it's like just participate in it. If you like it, if you don't bother.
yeah. So what tips can you give on dosage?
I am a capsule girl, so I tend to like to participate in capsules because then you can like grind it down, you can measure out a little bit better, and you can kind of see, and then you can also participate in like mixing in your lion's mane and stuff like that. Because a lot of people tend to complain about like when they eat mushrooms, they have an upset stomach.
Mhm.
So I always like to give the advice of maybe trying it in capsules is a lot, it will be a little easier in digesting, and potentially adding lion's mane into your diet when you are eating it at the same time. So eating it together, those two together tend to help a lot because I mentioned earlier a lot of people have upset stomachs, and lion's mane, one of
Mm,
their its
okay.
properties is to help with that.
Okay.
So and it's not gonna like solve the problem altogether, but it's like things like that. If you're gonna eat mushrooms, eat some food, just like you read on your ibuprofen bottle where it's like, don't take one of these without eating food. Eat some food before you do it.
Yeah.
Eat something like hearty that's going to be on your stomach where you're not just like digesting mushroom in your
Yeah.
stomach. So that's like my other like big go to. And then for like a fun one is if you like to eat mushrooms raw and you want to try one. I tend to like to eat mine with Starburst or a gummy of some sort because it
Mhm.
tends to chew at the same consistency with
Okay.
the
Mhm.
mushroom. And then because mushrooms, they tend to be not leathery, but just they it takes a long time to
Yeah.
chew it.
Yeah.
So with not going down that route, I tend to like to eat them with like Skittles. I'll pop a bunch of Skittles in my mouth and then I'll pop one of those. And again, if you're a texture person, I probably wouldn't do it because it will make the gummy like grainy. But I then solve that by eating sugary gummies and stuff like that. So then
Mhm.
now I'm not bothered by the grain and I have all this sweetness and I'm not bothered and I still get it and something sweet.
Yeah.
So those are
Yeah.
like my small little tidbits. And then don't take mushrooms from anybody. Ask questions, like ask what kind of mushrooms it is. If they can't tell
Yeah.
you what kind of mushroom they grew, I don't think you should take it.
Yeah. For
Like
sure.
if you ask me, I will tell you the strain that I grew and here you go. But if you're just buying stuff, actually no, don't be afraid to Google it and see if that's what it's supposed to actually look like. Look up
Mhm.
the dried versions a lot of the time. You know, ask questions. Don't be afraid if you're going to get some from people like, can you show me where you got this? And if they can't tell you information on said mushroom, don't touch the mushroom. Because again,
Yeah.
there are mushrooms out there that are super dangerous, that are fool's mushrooms that look like a lot of mushrooms. And this person could be thinking they're growing one thing and growing another, and then we're all screwed because you didn't ask questions.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that is like something I say is like ask about it. Like mushrooms do come in strains, if you will, and
Yeah.
you can
Yeah.
ask the variations of them, and then you can Google that. There are places where you can Google and you can at least get it small information on like the effects
Mhm.
or the beginner effects of it and stuff like that. So don't be afraid to ask the strain and then look up like you would with cannabis. Like you can go
Yeah.
on Weed Maps, and if you hear a strain, you go up and you look up the effects and all that stuff.
Yeah.
There are places that currently right now on the internet that you can hear a strain and then go and look up that strain, look up the effects. Sometimes it's on websites that are selling the strain, but it's still viable information to like, okay, this is what you're going to be feeling. This is how it's going to feel like.
So when you say capsules, I'm just curious to know, are you grinding these up yourself and putting them in capsules for you, for your
Yeah, most times it'll be like you'll, and then I also have like a friend that I know that like I know what strain it is and their grow process and all that stuff. And we've like had a long conversation about it. But yeah, it's pretty much just like you, in order to consume them, you don't want to consume them wet, so you have to dry them. And then once you dry them, they're at a consistency where you can like grind them up and then grind up the lion's mane and then like weigh out a certain amount, but then that's still where you kind of dance with the dosage because you don't know
Yeah,
for sure because you haven't actually tested how
exactly.
strong
Yeah.
each mushroom is that's going into it. But you can do a fair, like, not say guesstimate, but that's kind of like
Yeah.
what it is, a guesstimate of
Yeah.
what you're consuming. And then I tend to lean more on like wanting to add in a little bit more lion's mane if and when I make them, like adding in a little bit more of that so you're not getting so much of the actual magic. But you know that when you're getting them, and you know that when you're taking them. So you understand like this is what microdosing is. Microdosing
Yeah.
isn't taking a whole gram of a mushroom or even taking a quarter of a mushroom. Sometimes you can only take like a 0.5, and that's
Yeah.
half a gram, and that's
Yeah.
like things like that. Like you have to start thinking on that aspect of mushrooms. And when I grind them down, and when I've consumed them from other friends, they've leaned into mixing with lion's mane and
Mhm.
the mushroom itself, and then
Yeah.
informing, hey, that's what it is. And then
Yeah.
also the clear capsule so you can see what you're taking.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Yes. So I think even you've shown me like the chocolate ones, and then they have like
Yeah.
chocolate bars and stuff. So what would be your suggestion for dosage when it comes to those?
I'm not a big fan of the chocolate bars, but when it comes to those, a lot of the chocolate bars come in like the little squares where the squares are dosed out. But again, even those I'm skeptical on dosing because
Yeah,
you're like mixing it into a big chocolate bar, then you're spreading them out. And
exactly.
so they're like a lot of the times you're still dancing. So I would always like a lot of packages, if and when they do sell them, will have like how much of the square you should take. And
Yeah.
I always take less than that. So if it
Okay,
says
that makes sense.
if it says take a whole square, then you take a quarter of that square. And
Yeah,
then
okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
the best part with any type of like experience with mushrooms is you give it time to kick in and get your experience. And then
Yeah.
if you feel like, okay, I feel like I can do more, then you take another quarter and
Yeah.
you keep it in that same estimate that you're taking
Yeah.
it so that you don't overconsume yourself. And then, because the best part about it is you can always take more, but you can never undo what you took.
Exactly.
So you don't
Exactly.
want to just say, "Oh, I'm gonna take this whole piece because the package says take the whole piece." It's like, no, you don't know how much it is. And there are places now that are being able to test it and stuff like that. But different mushrooms have different potencies and,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
aspects like that. So you kind of have to start paying attention and realizing that that is what's going on. And if you're buying
Exactly.
it from somebody who can't get to a lab and stuff like that, you need to take that into account. Like,
Exactly.
okay, how were they able to test the potency of this and then be able to tell me the dosage of the square? So for
Mhm.
me, it's like, since you're not able, a rule of thumb is I'm not even going to take half of what they're telling me. I'm going to take less than that
Yeah.
and then take myself up slowly from there. Because if you're
Yeah.
consuming more, then it's just crazy. And that's
Yeah.
it's crazy. Like, it's, to me, it's crazy. Like, I'm not
No, it
one of
is.
yeah, I'm not one of those people where I'm like, eat the whole thing Cookie
Yeah.
Monster style. Yeah, like, whoa. Like,
Yeah.
I would say with chocolate bars, I understand teas are really good. I have a preference for tea and having it in tea bags. And I have a friend now that is he makes the best tea and it's so good. And I seen Sinners on it and it made me just experience that movie in another way. Like,
Yes.
I was experiencing stuff people were talking about weeks later, and I was like, y'all, I saw that day one.
That part. So, well, I
Day
need to
one.
connect with that friend because I'm a tea girly. I'm a tea
It's
girly for
tea,
real.
tea is really good. And then but you also have to pay attention to how you're consuming it, because now you're consuming it in a different way.
Yeah,
You're
no, for
heating it up
sure.
and you're now adding another component to the
Yeah,
situation. So understand that you're going to be absorbing it maybe a little bit faster now because it's
faster.
warmed
Yes.
up,
Mhm.
or it
The
may hurt your
seafood.
stomach. Yes,
Yeah,
or
because
it
it
may
might
hurt your
be more
stomach.
rich.
Hmm. So things like that, I always tell people, like, I'm talking to that I like tea, but you again, I have had
Yeah.
time to like grow and understand and see what I like, and take those experiences and try those out. And then one day I want to just bleh that on to everybody else, and
Yeah.
just everyone else can everyone else gets this grand experience. Of this grand experience of what's going on in my mind, and have these experiences, because I think when you're doing, like, I want at some point, maybe in my old age, like when I'm retiring, but I want to be able to like have a ranch or something like that where I can throw festivals. But it's not even like a festival, it's like a retreat almost, where
Yeah.
you can consume mushrooms from gourmet mushrooms. I want to have like not a forest, but somewhere where you
No,
can
yeah.
forage, and then you do activities that, me personally, like, I've seen that I like to do, that are very much like, they make me feel good when I'm on, like, I love to paint. I love watching weird, like, The Amazing World of Gumball. I love watching that
Yeah.
show. That show was made for people like me. Like, it was made for that. Like, I
Yeah.
love watching shows like that. Like, I love writing. I love just doing artistic stuff. Like, I love doing stuff with my hands that I can like feel. So those are the experiences I want to give to other people. I want to hear
Yeah.
other people's experiences. I want to dive more into the world of like the culinary world. Like, I'm not a cook. One day I want to learn how to cook so that I can like get more involved in that aspect, because like some people really just are able to do some things with
Yeah.
a mushroom. Like,
Yeah.
they just be, and you don't know it's a mushroom. You don't know it's a mushroom. You
Yeah.
don't know that it's anything. So that's something I really like love, and like and like just talking specifically about gourmet mushrooms and just the variations out there and the different things you can do, and how you can supplement it into your diet for protein instead of eating meat. And that's
Yeah.
again where I get super excited, because I currently am diving in the world of biotechnology, and how they're using, strain development and different things like that, and in some aspects cultivating with mushrooms, and developing with mushrooms, in order to create these products that are very similar, or in comparison to our products that we're used to every day when it comes to taste, texture, and all of that stuff. And they're working really hard. And I feel like that's the future for us, to branch away from the awful side of slaughtering animals and the necessity of needing that, and bringing back the humanity of,
Yeah.
like, this animal has a life type of thing. Yes, we understand it's going to die,
Yeah.
but it don't have
But
to be slaughtered,
yes,
or fattened up in order
exactly.
to help it to its grave. So
Yes.
for me, like, I start getting really excited like about stuff like that, because I'm like, oh my God, like, mushrooms are taking over the world again through technology, through
Yes.
biology, and it's in our faces every single day, and we don't
Yes.
even know it. Like, when you're looking at plant-based, products, like, think differently about plant-based, because even though mushrooms aren't a plant, you don't know how they were participating
Yeah.
in that product coming to flourishing. So do
Yeah.
research on companies that are adopting plant-based stuff. You might learn something. You might be really
Yeah.
excited in that it's not something that's like lab made, but it's something that they actually structurally looked into other proteins of stuff that we're eating, and then we're able to create the same variation of it, just not using that animal anymore.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Yeah.
think of things like in that aspect, where it's like, okay, we're science is sciencing.
Yes. Yes.
But sorry, my dog was chewing something. But yeah, that's like my extra to it. But yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. I love that. So to help people's research when it comes to, like, let's say energy, anxiety, and depression. Those are like the main things I always hear people they need stuff for, right?
Yeah.
What are maybe like three different mushrooms that can help with, some of those things?
I would say again, I cannot harp enough on lion's mane, the reishi one that you brought up, and I can't think of another one because I haven't utilized them for those things.
Yeah.
I tend to utilize them for other aspects, so I haven't gone down that rabbit
Yeah.
hole of those. I've used them for like other properties of like maybe a protein supplement and stuff like that.
Okay.
But
Okay.
I would 100% say again, lion's mane, it has more than just your stomach and antidepressant and stuff like that. Like there are a lot of mushrooms, even your basic mushrooms like tataki mushrooms and your portobello mushrooms, like all of those mushrooms again are, health beneficial mushrooms like that are replacements for protein and stuff. Like there are a lot of people
Okay.
who can't eat meat because they have like a protein deficiency or they have some type of deficiency where if they eat it, they get really, really sick. These are
Uh-huh.
other options that you can take. Chicken of the woods, puffball, um, just variations, like a lot of those
Yeah.
ones are solid ones that you can start off with that are the common ones that you hear a
Yeah.
lot of people talk about and that you can start off with and you can feel comfortable that you like there's a lot of information around them and you won't
Yeah.
feel scared that you don't know what they are if you want to go out and find your own. Like those are ones like chanterelle mushrooms, like you'll find those because they're very distinct looking when you go out
Mhm.
into the woods and stuff like that. And moriels, they're very distinct looking and they're very good and they have like a nutty taste to them and stuff like that. So it's like things like that you can those are very common ones that I would like to say that you can go out and try if you
Mhm.
wanted to. And then if you wanted to also go out in the forest and look for them, you can also go out and easily look them up. There's something that has a lot of information on them, a lot of pictures on them, and they're not something that you're gonna misconstrued with a different one that might be dangerous because there are a lot of fool's mushrooms out there as well.
Okay, okay. That makes sense. That makes sense. So as far as do you connect with the spirituality behind like trying mushrooms, or is that something that you haven't dove into?
I don't think I've dove in much into the spirituality. I think I'm just always like one with everything and just
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
like everything's okay until it's not okay.
yeah,
And with mushrooms, I kind of just really enjoy more of like the feelings of things. Like I'm a sensations person, so
yeah.
it's more of
Mhm.
like touching stuff and feeling stuff, and just the way I feel, like the wind feels good. So it's more of like sensations for me than it
Uh-huh.
is like a spiritual thing. And then I guess you can say it's more of like an enlightenment or an
Gotcha.
intellect thing for
Yeah,
me,
yeah.
where it's like I just feel like I'm thinking a little bit more deeper about certain things. Like I already think a lot about a lot of stuff.
Yes.
My brain already is doing a lot. But
Yeah.
when I do mushrooms, those pop-up windows become more centralized and
Yeah,
like they
yeah.
they make a little bit more sense. And it's not all like you ever like accidentally open a spam and then you get ting 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 ting
Yeah,
ting ting,
yeah,
ting, ting. That's what it's like all the time in here.
yeah.
So
Oh, I
with
know. Same
mushrooms,
over here.
so with mushroom, it's like, oh, okay. Oh, let's think about that. Let's
Yeah, it's
branch
like
out.
it's
So
swept, yeah,
yeah, so
organized.
it's more of like a focuser, like it focuses me more. So I think it kind of has a little bit of a different effect on me because I already am like like looking
Yeah,
at everything and
yeah,
a part of everything. And then when I like to participate in mushrooms, it's like, oh, okay, calming. And so I feel like I'm more focused and able to pay more attention and I'm not so hyper awake because like I'm aware of everything still, but I'm just more focused on like I can have a conversation and be in the conversation with you and not thinking about what you're about to say next type of
yeah,
thing as
yeah,
well. Or I
yeah.
can sit down and write something and it doesn't turn into word vomit. Like it actually have a little structure to it type of
Okay,
energy.
yeah.
So it's kind of like things like that where it's not really spiritual for me. It's more of like intellect and sensation where
Mm,
feeling things and I think that's where more of my spiritual things come out
yeah,
is feelings and sensations and doing nice things for other people and stuff
yeah.
like that. So mushrooms, I think when I do participate in them, like they help those aspects, like they
Yeah,
enhance those a
it's
lot for me
enhanced.
and make
Yeah,
it nice. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. That's so awesome.
I like it. Yeah. And
Yes.
I don't go nuts. Like I'm not one of those people who are like I do it every single day. Like no, it's to me it's for me and I think for a lot of other people, it's just like something I like to do for fun. It's something I like to do for me right now, it's for fun. Sometimes if it's like when I'm on my period or something like that, then I like to like microdose at home
Mhm.
and that helps a lot with like the cramping and the stomach
Yeah,
and stuff like that. And again, that's my personal experience with it
yeah,
because again, I do tend to mix it and drink it in teas and different things like that and other things to help with it. But for me, it helps in those aspects and times of when I just want to be in comfort and
yeah.
just kind of want to sit and chill and relax where a lot of other people where they feel like they're just all over the
All
place.
over the place.
I don't have that experience. It's more of like
Yeah,
a I can sit and just focus on what I'm watching on TV. And now I'm not
yeah,
watching TV, but on my phone at the same time and messing with my
yeah,
dog. And
yeah.
it gives me a sense of focus.
Yes, and that's what my friend was saying. He said it helps you to be present and
Yes.
just be and just experience life.
Everything that's going like you don't want
Yeah,
to pull your phone out like you stop like and I'm not saying that's for everyone that's just for me like I stop like I already don't do that enough like just pull my phone out for random reasons but I think that just pushes that even more where I'm more of just calm about it and just calm in everything that I'm doing and I'm just like okay I can have this conversation
yeah,
and I'm not thinking about five other things that are going on over here or what that
yeah,
person's doing behind you or what am I gonna eat when I get home? Like, it's like, okay,
yeah,
oh, like this butterfly. Like I'm scared of them,
yeah,
but I can experience the beauty of this butterfly
yeah,
right now.
yeah, yeah,
And small things like that. Like
yeah,
the wind is blowing and wow, that feels really good. And like things like that. It's like you don't notice those things when you're just kind of like moving throughout the day and going through
yeah,
your own
yeah,
process. And sometimes when you're participating in mushrooms, like you get that experience where it's just like for me, it slows you down and it allows you just to kind of enjoy life and
yeah.
enjoy the moment, enjoy situations. Yes, baby, I'm sorry. And enjoy the situation
Yeah,
and just kind of be like your friend said, present in the moment. Like and a
yeah,
lot of times I don't get to do that. So
yeah,
that's
yeah.
when I like to utilize that in escape utilizing
Mhm.
mushrooms.
Yeah, and that was what also kind of made me like, yeah, I want to do this. But again, I like to confirm with myself because I was in the moment
Mhm.
and we had talked about it. And so when I came home, I told him I wanted to do it. I said, I already knew I wanted to do it. I just wanted to make sure that I had to check with myself and not be like, yeah, I like what he said about that. I'm
Yeah.
doing it. You know?
Yes, exactly. I'm gonna do
Yeah,
this right now.
right.
Boom.
Give me that shit.
Give me this. Talking about you
But
and
I
hit him
do
with
like,
that. You got some.
yeah, you got some. But like you said, I don't get enough time to do that. And when I do have those moments, I don't know, I feel like it's not long enough. Girl, I can be in the forest all day. Like I can go on a walk and be gone all day because that's who I am. And I love it. I love being in nature. But I also feel like even though I can do that all day, I'm missing it. I'm
Yeah.
not fully present. My mind is thinking about my podcast, about my kids,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? And then I'll do an audio journal because I'm like, okay, let's talk about some of the stuff on your mind so you can be in nature. But then the
Yeah.
whole walk is an audio journal,
Mhm. And
you
I like
know?
to say that phone will become obsolete, and you will
Yeah,
just become because everything will just become for me again, and that's why I keep saying for me, everything just becomes an experience. Everything just becomes a moment. Like it's not like every moment passing you by. It's like no, I'm gonna remember this.
yes,
Like, this is good time. Like this
yes,
is fun. Like I like this, and that's why I always tell a lot of people like write your experiences down because sometimes you'll realize like you thought of a cool idea doing
yeah,
mushrooms because you were just in that moment like experiencing the world and you saw something really cool and then you wrote that down. Like art is really cool on it and different things like
yeah,
that. So I'm always going to be an advocate for it, but I'm always a person that's like, hey, take your time. It's not something that you have to do every day. Like
yeah,
it's not something that I do every day. That's for sure because like it would just become too much, I think.
yeah,
I feel like I would not utilize it for its purposes. I would just become dependent on it. And it's not
Yes.
like I can become dependent on it as an addictive, but just being wanting that experience and understanding like, oh, that's a different reality that I could live
Yes.
in.
Yes.
And it's still the same reality. I'm still doing
Yes.
the same things, but I don't want to utilize that as more than it just being a tool
Exactly.
and it becoming like the foundation of things. So
Yes.
that's where like it becomes a problem. Like if once it becomes a foundation, it's no longer like supplement to your life,
Yes.
and mushrooms
Exactly.
won't be that for you. For in my personal opinion.
Yeah, 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 I agree because I feel like that's the same with other things, I feel like you said, cannabis and marijuana and stuff like that, it could be used. I used it. I was used to get I think it was CBD oil. I used to get really bad pains in my stomach. I used it for my
I
stomach,
was about to say what?
So it was just the CBD oil, still a square bear. But I used the CBD oil for my stomach. I had a friend, she had really bad stomach issues. She had to smoke to soothe her stomach, but also to eat.
But even
So
if you don't want to get high, there are other variations of
exactly,
cannabinoids out there.
exactly.
THCV, Google it. It'll give you
Yeah,
all the same properties. If you want to eat something but you don't want to get high, THCV. Go out
yeah,
there and find you products that have stuff like that.
yeah.
And look into other cannabinoids. There's almost 150 plus, and they're still finding more of
Hmm.
cannabinoids, but most people only know the first two.
Yeah, yeah,
And I'm
yeah.
like, you don't even know CBN? That's like a natural melatonin. You're out there
Mhm.
taking man-made melatonin, and CBN is
Yeah,
literally melatonin, and you don't get high. Again, you
yeah,
don't get high, but you get the natural properties of going to sleep. CBD, you like you said, it is
yeah,
known for helping with inflammation. You'll go pop some Tylenol, but be scared to pop a little CBD on you
yeah,
because you're scared to get high because you heard that you were going to get high. I could
yeah,
get into a whole ball about that because that
yeah.
was a point in my life where I got in deep dived into that world and
Yes.
can just explain to you the medicinal beauties of it, the longevity that it's had and not even in our society, but this in human society in general, like how long it's stretched back and being used. So and even how like the other portion of the plant, hemp, can be used for
Yeah,
clothes. Like it's such a useful
yeah.
plant, but let me not get on that hill.
Oh, we gon' you gonna have to come back for that one, okay,
I
babe?
just-
You coming
that-
back for that one.
let me not get on that one because that's a whole another hill.
You coming back for that one. But no, so as we transition into our next topic, I want to say that I do value the fact that you have never pressured me. This is something that you've been doing for some time now. We've never had this opportunity to actually sit down and discuss what it means to you and the research that you've done. But one thing you have done is never forced it on me. And I appreciate that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it made it easier for me to accept the knowledge when it came from other places, and now it's coming from you, because it wasn't something that was peer pressured. A lot of people, because I am a square bear, alcohol and weed are often something that people try to pressure me. Yeah, oh, that's often something that people try to pressure me into doing, and I think it's just because it makes them feel good because
Yeah.
they're doing it. And I don't want to say they need it, but that's part of their lifestyle. And for me, I could be all this crazy without it,
Yeah.
and I can be chill without it, and I have like these natural things, but I had to shift that mindset too, because it's like, just because they're using it for that reason doesn't mean I have to use it for that reason. So that means I can now look at another reason why I want to add it to my lifestyle. And
Yeah.
again, like you said, it doesn't have to be an everyday thing.
Thank
So
you.
yeah, so I appreciate that. I appreciate your wealth of knowledge that you've been giving to us. And like I said,
Welcome.
I've always loved how intellectual you are. Like, that's something, one of the biggest, greatest things I've admired about you. And you're like a natural, like, chill vibe. So you also, when you give the information, you're very open-minded. You're not like, this is what you need to be doing.
Like Google it, baby. Google it. You don't gotta believe me. Believe Google. The double O's will tell you. The double O's will tell you.
They'll let you know, okay?
They'll tell you.
Yes. So a little bit about our sisterhood. We have been tapping in and out, since I guess our let's just say our adulthood.
Yeah.
Lately though, what we've been connecting mainly around my birthday. We gather every year for my birthday. I got my
Yay.
little I got my little I got my little Rosie right here. My little Rosie. She
Yeah,
gave me
that
a
makes me
bouquet of
so happy.
roses and I made this cute little thing out of it. But yeah, so we've been gathering, you know, around the time around this well not around this time of year, usually in November. And so we've been, chilling and connecting and it's like no time has passed. Every time we
Yeah.
connect, like no time has passed, but you can still feel that like, damn, I miss her. Like.
You big girl. Yes, yes. And then life just stays lifing.
Yes, it does. And so I want to know, like, how do you define sisterhood?
That's such a good question. Well, I guess I define sisterhood. Well, okay, I guess the best way I can say it is one thing I've always appreciated about you, and thank you for saying all those wonderful things you said about me. Because, girl, stop it, because that's literally like are a pedestal in my life, and you've always been on this pedestal in my life, and you
Aw.
still are. Like even when you curse for the first time in front of me, mouth draw. Jaw was dry. I like the shade is not curse. What is Lord, what is happening? When I saw your booty cheeks for the first time on the internet, I said, God help me. Not my sister. Not my sister. I still shared it, but I put a happy face over your booty cheeks because I was like, no, 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 no. But I've always admired you because even as like we were kids, you were always somebody where no matter what, when you always came to see us, you were always like super happy to see us. You were always asking how we were doing, how school, like it was always like big sister energy. It was always like
Yeah.
again, time had never passed. Like that time that we've been gone didn't exist and it got erased. The moment you saw us, and like one thing, like you said, you kept your flower. It's at grandma's house, but I don't know if you remember, but I can't remember what birthday it was, but for one of my birthdays, and it means a lot to me because I've never gotten another one of these, you got me this humongous just huge birthday singing card. Like it was like this. I've never again gotten one of these, and it still to this day opens up and sings. And you wrote inside of it, and you were like just being like I've never gotten nothing like that before, and it's
Aw.
probably the only gift I still have from a sibling that I've ever gotten from a sibling.
Mhm.
So the fact that like you brought it up like about sisterhood, it's like you've always made being a sister like not important of time and space, but just the moments that we do get to share together. And then just making sure that you always stay connected with us. And it always made me feel like important to you, like and connected to you. So for
Yes.
me, sisterhood was like it doesn't matter the time or the space that you're in, but like that when you're with your sister and in that moment that you guys really do enjoy those moments and you really do enjoy those experiences with each other.
Yes.
And then you understand that like life is gonna life, but
Yes.
that's my sister. Like if I needed something, if life really hit me in the face, like I know that I can look to you to call, or if I really got down and out about something in life, like I can call you and ask for some advice, or hey, like this is what's going on with me, and I know that I'm gonna get a support system. So
Yes.
I've always looked at my sisters as a support system, even though like I may not talk to all of them or see all of them all the time, but I know it's a support system. Like if I say I need to fight somebody, I can call my sisters type of
Yes.
energy.
Yes.
So for me, it's like we may not talk all the time because we were raised in separate households and stuff like
Mhm.
that, but it meant a lot to me that even in those instincts you took on the big sister role of always making sure that we were like comfortable and that we had that relationship with you, because you could have just as easily like not talked to us or like
Yeah.
not said anything or just kind of went your own way, but you made it a point to like make it a relationship and make it a sisterhood and make sure that we understood like, hey, I'm here and
Yes.
like I see you and like whatever is going on over here and over here, like, but we're good, we're here. So
Yes.
that's
Yes.
always been like super important to me. And I've always tried to make sure like my other sisters know like that's important. No matter if we don't talk or we don't get along or whatever the case is or what's going on between us, like you could anything could happen and I'm right there. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
anything can happen and I'm right there. It doesn't matter if you right, wrong, or it's a draw in whatever situation, I'm
Yes.
right there. So that's something that I've always like appreciated about our sisterhood, is that you've always just been like a beacon of light and comfort and support at all times. Like there's never been a time that I don't see you smiling. There's never been a time that you're not like super happy, or like
Yeah.
you've just been this person that's always like just been like they like you're the nicest person I know in the world. You're the sweetest person I know in the world. Like I literally I've never heard a bad thing about you. I can't ever say it bad. I don't have a bad childhood memory of you. Like even though we've spent like time in our childhood living together,
Yes.
I
Mhm.
don't have a bad memory even then. Like that's probably some of my most fondest memories, is because like you've always just been this really overprotective, sweet, loving sister that just has
Yes.
always been there. Like you've always exhibited what a sister has needs to be, what a sister has always been. Even in adulthood, like we've grown up, you still made it a point to check in on me or like something on Instagram, like I
Yeah.
see you girl type of
Yeah.
thing. Or and again, like inviting me to your birthday stuff. And even though Chris is known to be a small flake, inviting me still, like
Yes.
that's what I appreciate about you. And to me, it makes me feel happy to have you as my sister, to like be your sister, and I hope that like I'm a good sister.
Yes. You are. No, no, and that's I love to know that because, anxiety has a way of telling you you're not doing enough, right?
Mhm.
And so I'm like, damn, like she lives in Sacramento. I'm in Sacramento all the time. Am I not doing enough? Am I not showing up for her enough?
You are.
And, I've had that experience with other siblings, where
Mhm.
I thought that by me, setting an example was enough, but I had a sister who had a hard time and she needed me to be more present in her life and I
Yeah.
wasn't. But also, like you said, life be life. And so sometimes I got tunnel vision because I'm like trying to make sure that I'm good, and I
Yeah.
got a good foundation. So it's good to hear that you still feel that sisterly love because it is there and it is strong and it is like you said, you call me baby and I'm gonna be there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially because you're right in Sacramento, I'm gonna be there
Yes,
quick.
exactly. Exactly. And I think I'm just personally one of those people where it's like I already have a like an issue with, like I don't need you to be right there,
Yeah,
like it's enough for me to know like that you're there, and
yeah,
that and that the love is there. And like I think it amplified more for me in adulthood for us, because you really like locked in and like even just like giving me the opportunity to have a relationship with my niece and my nephew, like things like that. Like, girl, we ain't seen each other in years. You don't have to give me that opportunity when we're around them. You don't have to invite me to their birthday parties. Like you don't have to, go about doing those things, but you still take the account of just doing it. And like I see those things and I appreciate it, because again, it to me it's the actions that mean a lot to
yes.
me. Like, you don't have to physically be at every game that I'm at, because I've
Mhm.
never had that as a necessity before, or as a
Yeah.
thing before. Like Pops didn't show up to every single games or everything, like so it's like things like that I don't need, but it's the need that if I tell you, hey, I'm doing this thing, and then you send me this whole voice message of how proud you are or how excited you are to hear about it, like just all of these wonderful things, like that to me means a lot more to me. Really?
Yeah, yeah, okay, that
Sorry.
makes sense. No, it's good,
So
you're
yeah.
good. That makes sense though, because like I do, everyone needs different things, and so it's nice to know that even though we have these like gaps of communication, that it still works for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's still you still feel that sisterly love and that sisterly bond because again, anxiety will be like, girl, you ain't doing enough.
Yes,
You
no,
know,
and anxiety
you
gets me
know,
all the time. Yes, no,
yeah,
you do more than enough. I think I'm not doing enough a lot of the time. Like I need to, and I say it to myself all the time. And I'm gonna do better. I'm gonna do better. Life just keeps lifing, but that's
yes,
not an excuse in my world to not keep those moments and keep those experiences. But that's why I just appreciate you a lot, because you keep that bridge there, because I don't get to talk to all my sisters, or and
yes,
we got quite a few of them. But
yeah, yeah.
I would say I talk to you more than I talk to the sister that I lived with my entire life. Like, and
Yeah.
that's kind of like how I like to say sister, like our sisterhood has amplified and strengthened over time as we've gotten older, because
Mhm.
then there wasn't that jurisdiction of our parents. It was more like
Yes.
we have the ability to do it ourselves
You're
now. They're not,
choosing. Yeah.
yeah, they're not in the
Yeah.
picture. And it wasn't even like it was their decision, but it was like we didn't have the ability
Independence.
to,
Yeah.
yeah, to keep that connection. So I feel like now as an adult, you do like an amazing job, and it really makes me want to. And that's why I'm like, thank you so much for having me on your show, girl. Jesus Christ, like things like this means a lot to me. Like this is again a small token of your beautiful sisterhood and just a token of you. Like you don't have to bring me on to your threshold and your experiences and your journey, like in your platform, and give me a moment to like shine and tell people what I'm doing and stuff like that. But you're still taking the moment. You thought of me to take the moment and do that. So like that's to me like what makes sisterhood. It's like again, it's not about the time that we've been together. It's just like the actions that we keep showing each
Yes.
other, and that we do
Yes.
keep showing up when the moment matters and when we need each other. It's like, okay,
Yes.
I can look. And I appreciate as an adult growing into knowing that like you've literally always been there. Like
Yes. I
even
love
if
that.
you haven't
Yeah.
physically been there, you've always been there.
Yeah, and I love that you can feel that energy because that's that and that I needed that, because like I said, I had a sister recently and I realized that there needed to be more in-person connection, right? And so the whole family went through this whole shift. And so
Mhm.
we're trying to make those shifts. Um and I was telling everyone, I said, you have to ask her,
Mhm.
how can I show up for you in your life? And I'm hearing from you that you're getting what you need. You know what I mean? And so I think that that's a beautiful thing. And also, like you said, that energy that I am here,
Yeah.
whether I'm physical or not. And I think that it's also like a comparison thing, I realize, because we see like these families and they go to Sunday
Yeah.
dinner, or they have sister dates and stuff like that. And I'm like, well, should I be doing that? Is that
I
something?
say the same thing all the time, and I'm like, but where's the time? Like, what?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
where's the time? But to me,
yeah,
I'm like, I try not to look at those experiences because then I have to also think about like how long, what kind of relationship did they have when they were growing up? Like, what were their circumstances?
yeah,
And then I always think about my circumstances. Like, we didn't get dealt the best hand at a young age, so it was like, okay, like as an adult, I now have the opportunity. So I always try to like just chuck my childhood up to like, I didn't get built, like not saying it was bad at all, like not saying I had a bad child, but I didn't get dealt the best hand in the very beginning. And
no, for
so
sure.
yeah, and so for us to grow up and just to still be able to now like as adults like come together and like talk and hang out and drink together and just
Yeah,
kind of like I think experience each other in new
yes,
ways. Like I enjoy being around you. I enjoy getting to experience because like I don't know if you know it, but Pops put you up on like this pedestal. So you were always this pristine, and this is why you're still this to me. That's why when you cursed or when I saw your butt on the, it took me out. It took me out, girl, because you've always been like our perfect sister, like our
yeah,
pristine, perfect sister. Like this is who he
mhm,
gushes about. This is who we have to be like type of
yeah,
thing. So
yeah,
it just makes me so happy, like to hear, like to see like that you keep showing up even now in our adult age. Like you're like,
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
here. Don't worry about it. Like I got
yeah,
you. Come to my birthday. Come to see your nieces and your nephews.
yeah. See, I wasn't entirely aware of that because we don't talk.
Yeah.
Um, but all of YouTube knows I have a couple of podcast episodes about it. Y'all can go over
Yeah.
to Beautifully Imbalanced, that podcast.
You gotta
But
go.
anyways,
You gotta go over there to see what that one's about.
this one is about sisterhood, damn it.
You gotta go talk about that one. You gotta go see about that one.
You
Cause
know,
Papa is funny.
but my mom did the same thing, and she still kind of does the comparison thing, and that's partially where this comes from, because the reality is I felt like I was put in a box. So I didn't start drinking and cussing till I was 23.
Oh, I
And
know, girl, because it still takes me out.
yeah, and I didn't, as far as modeling goes, I didn't start that till, like, I think I just I'm going on 3 years now. Like my anniversary was like 2 days ago for
Yeah.
modeling. And but it was
Congratulations. Iconic career on the way, in the way, in the
yes.
making right now.
But it's cool because, you know, growing up, I always wanted to be Victoria's Secret model. So like
Mhm.
I knew I was gonna be out there, but because of life, I just didn't think it was something that was okay. You know what I mean? And so I've like I said, as life has happened, I've just grown into being true to myself, but also you're a big inspiration when it comes to that because you've always just been you. You're very honest, very raw, very I'm me, you know what I mean? And you don't have to have the attitude to do it because I don't see you as like an attitudey person. You're like, I come with the facts, look them up if you wanna. If not, that's cool too. But I am who I am, you know? And that's so inspirational to me because in this society, it is hard to be yourself.
Yeah,
You know, because everyone's telling
authentically.
you it's wrong to be yourself. And
Yeah.
so I've just and always admired that about you because you've been that way since day one. You came out the womb like I'm gonna be me.
Stop. Stop. Are you happy?
So I love that. I love that so much. And I had another question, but like I because you know that's was the other thing too. Like I have used, like you said, I have used that same excuse, like life be life and I got all these things and but like just recently because life be life and right, I just came out of like this major depression episode that I've been in, just kind of in my own like world, you know what I mean? And coming out of that, and then just different little situations that happened, the lesson that I took away from that is we're in charge of our time. And, you know, sitting the phone down or making time to go out to spend a couple hours with a family member, the sky will not fall if you decide to do that, right? And so the next question was how can we as individuals show up better, you know, or what's the next step, or how can we kick it up a notch, you know what I mean?
You
Because
know, add a little spice to it. No,
yeah,
I got yeah, you know, a little spice. I think honestly, for me, on my perspective, I've had this issue. You are not the only person that has brought this to my attention. I have anxiety, like a lot of it. And I don't think a lot
yeah,
of people know it because I'm so like in your face all the time. And there are
and you're
aspects of
chill, you're very mellow.
and so there's aspects of time for me where I'm like, I'm ready to do it. I want to do it. I want to hang out. I'm so into it. And then the day comes and it just feels like the sky is falling and
Yeah,
I feel like I'm constricted and I don't know what I'm gonna say and how am I gonna and I start thinking about things that you won't even care about. It's not even about things that you're thinking about or anything. It
yeah,
turns into me. And this is something that I go through with a lot of people because this
yeah,
is something where people are like, how do we turn this up a notch? And I think it's just for me, I'm doing better with working on like answering the phone and
mhm,
responding back to text messages in timely
yeah,
manner. Like you might even experience, it might take me about
yeah,
24 to 72 hours for you to get a
yeah,
response. But it's things like that. Like I feel like I need to do is
yes,
start showing up and respond and making those steps of responding
yeah.
and not getting anxiety. Like I think it's very important, like for me to have heard all of like these things for you to say, like that you think like that I'm like I'm smart and like you appreciate my voice and what I have to say. And like hearing those things like that like brings a lot of comfort to me because it's like, okay,
Mhm.
well, because we've had this distant childhood, there's and you've always had this pedestal, there's always like this sense of wanting to like not impress you, but
No, no, I
make
understand.
it perfect for you
Yeah,
in the
no,
sense of like, I don't want to show up if I'm not my best self. So let me
yeah,
just not respond because like in my mind, again, you're like this pristine person.
mhm.
And again, like this, you should never put people up on pedestals, but it's just what it is.
No, I get
So
it. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, so for me, it's just like I need to show up better in the same. I think you do an amazing job. Like you are the reason why we have the connection. Like that is something I need to bring to attention. Like if you didn't message and invite me to stuff, we probably wouldn't have this connection because I have a problem. And it's not just with you, it's with all of our siblings. It's just
No,
with
yeah, I
people
understand.
in general that I have a issue with, and like and you think it's weird because I have friends, I have people, but I get to a point where it's just like I get overwhelmed or I get
Yes.
overexerted in
Yes.
explaining or conversating, or I take on so much of everyone else's emotion that by the time I
Yes.
get to the point where I want to hang out and do you, I don't have anything left, and now
Yeah.
all I'm riddled with is anxiety. But what my promise is here, and all these people watching, for them to say is that I will do better in making the connection of responding to you and in messaging you and checking in on you. And then those times when I do see you in San Francisco popping up or in Sacramento popping up,
Mhm.
because like
Yeah.
I think that's important. Like you have plenty of events out here that I would love to go to. It looks
Mhm.
like so much fun when I'm looking on your Instagram. So it's like things like that. I feel like I can
Yeah.
do better. And I think you're doing an amazing job, like continuing to keep the connection, even though you do see that I can take time in my
Yeah.
responses and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Like still not bothering. Like you've never mentioned it. Even now you're not mentioned it. Like
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, the
you've
thing is,
never
I'm well
mentioned it.
aware that we all have our things, and you not responding, that maybe that's something you need in that moment to not respond, my anxious thing is, I have to get all the messages out of the way, so that's why I
Mhm.
turn my notifications off to where I don't feel that like that, like you said,
Yeah.
for you just kind of pause, but I also know that you're not glued to your phone, and I that's another thing that I love about you, so I'm not expecting, like, instant replies and stuff like that. I wasn't aware that there was that level of social anxiety, but I have experienced
Yeah.
that myself. Like when it going, hanging out with my mom's side of the family, because there's always this, there's always this gossip, right? So like, and so that they're already judging you. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And so I used to feel like I had to, look my best, or I had to have my stories in order, right? Like,
Mhm.
so if I'm telling them what I'm doing in my life, I have to have my story straight, or
Yeah.
whatever may be.
So it's not
And
no extra stuff.
yeah, so I understand what you're saying, because I'm the same way. And then as I was the same way. As I started, like, girl, let's start loving myself. I'm like, y'all gonna get this Deshay, okay?
Yes, yes.
I'm on social media. You're gonna see what you see. I'm gonna cuss. I'm gonna be talking to you. We're gonna talk about spirituality. We're gonna talk about psychology, because I'm
Yes.
already analyzing you. It is
And
what it
that's why I
is.
love this journey. That's why I said it was just like a mouth drop moment, but it was like a support my sister, share, 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 share. Put her, don't look at her booty though. Don't you dare. Don't you dare.
Yeah. So the thing is too is I think we don't we're not taught to communicate those things. I would love to show up and support you, but I'm a little anxious. You know what I mean? We don't
Yeah.
communicate those things, because the reality is I'm willing to meet you where you at. Listen, I'm a quality time person. I don't give a
Mhm.
fuck what we do. I could be at your house sitting down playing with them dogs. You know
That's
what I
all
mean?
I ask. Yes.
And that's a good time for me. I don't have to get dressed up and get cute. So then at that point, what you wear don't even matter.
It's just and hearing things like that again means a lot. Because even now, I could have just came as I was, but I went on, put on a whole face. Like grandma said, I had to go put my face on just
Yeah,
to come over here. And it's like things like the anxiety of things. And it's not even just you or just
yeah,
family, it's just in general. And you would
yeah,
not even know that I had social anxiety like this,
yeah,
riddling my poor little body because
yeah,
I'm so just in your
yeah,
face all the time. But
yeah.
it
But
honestly is something that I've had to fight through with a lot and build up to like responding to people. And
yeah,
again, I'm not on my phone all the time. I lose my phone 90% of the day. That's why you don't see me all the time. Or if you see me on Instagram, you'll see the videos hit like seconds after each other because by
yes,
that time the phone's gonna be out of my hand somewhere I can't
yes,
find it anymore. So
yes,
that's why I'm like, I think for to answer your question from my side of things, I just need to respond to you and to actually start showing up and then inviting like, hey, do you want to just come over and hang out? Do you want to bring over, because I got tons of stuff. I'm always looking to get into free stuff with kids, so it's
yeah,
like so it's like we can go do these things.
yeah,
I'm down. So it's like I think I just need to I'm happy that we're having this conversation because it really is like giving me a different comfort level with you that I
Yeah,
didn't have
yeah,
before. And it's not that you did anything. It's just there's just you like again, it's just the
yeah.
pedestal and the way we were raised and grown
Right.
up.
Yeah.
Like it was just like that situation to where now it's like I feel like we're breaking down barriers and like I
Yes.
feel more comfortable saying, hey, can I come over and just hang out? Because
Yeah.
I never felt the comfort level of asking that because
Mhm.
it was like I'm not saying like like partying and stuff like that. Like I feel so honored that you invite me, but it was always just like, is there any small resentment? Do you feel any kind of way? But I personally only felt like that because you've never ever exhibited that. So I think it was
Mm.
the anxiety level of like, well, she has to, like there
The
has to be
unknown.
yeah,
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 the
like it's
unknown.
like
Yeah,
the
and
huh.
then I always say, "I don't talk to dad, I don't talk to dad."
So
And
then
so
it's
that
like,
doesn't help either.
yes, and then
You're
I'm
like,
over here like, well, Papa said hi.
"Am I the problem?" And then there's that, is she mad that I still talk to dad? You know what I mean? Because I have experienced
Mhm.
that with other siblings too, like, but so
Because
just to
you're not
clear
the
look,
only
and
one.
just to clear the air, no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, yeah. I'm
No,
just
there's
like,
there's never been any resentment. The reality is, I believe that both of my parents did what they felt like they could take on, because I don't know what the hell that man been through outside of that. And I know that in having to getting to, because it's a blessing to get to raise some kids, and being able to get to raise the three of you guys. He had a loss as well. You
yeah,
guys had a loss, but he had a loss as well, and I'm well aware of that. The reasons why I don't communicate with him is because we're grown now, and I'm in SAC all the time, and for a year I was in SAC all the time with his wife. So it's a him thing. It has nothing to do with any of you guys. I love all of you guys. I even love your siblings on your mom's side. You know what I mean?
mhm.
Because you guys are all family, and I see you guys. I admire your oldest sister so much. And I admire her because she
Shout
was
out to
who I
Toya
wanted.
Jangles.
A
Yeah.
She was who I wanted to be for you guys, because I'm your older sister too, and I
Mhm.
feel like I was robbed of getting to be your older sister. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so I felt like I was like trying to catch up for
Yes,
lost
yeah.
time. You know what I mean? And so I was like, no, she has to come. But also, same with you. Like I felt like I had to have a reason for us to hang out. Like, you know what I mean? So I'm like, yeah, I'm invited to this, I'm invited to, you know what I mean? But the
Yes.
reality is, like I told you, we don't have to have a reason. We can go to the waterfront and just chill.
And just
I can
hang
go to your waterfront, you can come to my waterfront, we can go to each other's houses, we can go to the park, we can go to events, but
Mhm.
it's not necessary. I really don't have to have alcohol or be out in the environment. I also have social anxiety. It's usually more so when I have the kids with me, because now I have to be I have to be protective over more than one person now.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be this big extravagant thing, you know what I mean? For me, and I like I said, I've never resented you guys because you needed a father just like I needed a father.
Yeah.
For me, it was the lack of trying, and the lack of communication that I received from him, and that, you know it was a him thing. Again, me and you communicate. I don't communicate too much with the other two. But we tap in. I do check-ins. I do check-ins with Kale.
Yeah. They
Uh
they they I like to say they them. They very much them. They them.
that's the October Scorpios. No, I'm just kidding. I'm
That's
just
all I gotta say, because us Libras ain't out there like that. We would never, you could never catch us dead. You couldn't catch us dead. Couldn't catch us dead. Not never. Them
No,
October.
but yeah, so I'm very much, like I said, I'm on board with whatever feels comfortable and whatever we can ease into, you know what I mean? But I did feel that when the last time we saw each other,
Yeah.
It was like when I hugged you, I wanted to cry because I'm like, I love this person so much. And your energy was so beautiful. And it was like something about seeing those yellow flowers in your hand. It just like, I felt like I lit up, you know. I was like, I need her in my life regularly. I'm sorry. Once a year is not enough.
I'm so sorry. I've been making it. I'm growing. I promise. I'm working on it. I'm working
No,
on social anxiety and talking to
yes.
people more and taking that step of really not overexerting myself because that's the problem I
Yeah.
have. I
Yeah.
overexert myself and I overextend myself. Like just yesterday, and I haven't gotten it back yet. But this is a story. My neighbor, phone, I think it got stolen. I'm not sure, but somebody signed for his phone at his door and it wasn't him. And now his phone's gone. And I come and rushing outside talking about, hey, do you want to use my phone? Do you want to call somebody? I have an extra phone in the house if you need it. And I gave him this extra phone that I haven't gotten back and things like that. So I'm like, that's how I overextend myself. And now
Yeah.
I have anxiety because I was like, dang, I didn't reset the phone and all my text messages in
Yeah.
there. If I was
Yeah.
scandalous, he would know everything about me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. I understand that a lot too. Cause that's like I said, I had to do a lot of transitioning during this self-love journey and the healing that I've been going through. So I understand 100%. And so yeah, just you can always let me know. And I know it takes time, it takes these conversations to know who your safe
Yeah,
space is because everyone's not like that. And because we do have these gaps in communication, you don't know if I'm a safe space for this level of communication.
yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean? So I understand that too. You know, it's hard. And it sounds like you're also an empath. And that can be hard when you pick up on other people's feelings and you're trying to sort out what's yours and what's theirs and what you can give
yeah.
back to them. Because baby, I don't need all of that.
And like, I don't need all this, but I don't want to give it all back to you neither. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I feel that 100% because as I've gotten closer to myself, I feel like I've grown more empathic, and
mhm,
so I feel other people's feelings very strongly, and so it takes me having that connection with myself to be like, this is your feeling, this is theirs, and this is how you can help them.
yeah. And
Everything else out of your hands.
I think my biggest problem is the only way I've been able throughout my entire life to deal with that is just to go off by myself, reset. But that's a bad thing because then when people are reaching out and talking, then in that reset moment, I'm not
Yeah,
communicating. And when you got
yeah.
to reset multiple times, it's like,
No, I get it because I do that too, but I think the more you do it, you learn how much, right? Like for me, for example, when I go to Sacramento, I know that I'm not going to have a set chance to reset. I know that there's going to be some unpredictable things, and I know that I'm going to have to give my energy to some people. I know when I hug some people, I'm going to feel something and they're going to need a tighter hug. They're going to need some of my energy. I'm aware of that. So I think I set my mind up for that. And when I come home, well, also while I'm there, I make sure that like I hydrate, I have my teas to keep me. And then when I come home, that's when I have that isolation time. So I have the isolation time, I journal, I go on a walk. It just depends on how much energy I gave when I was at these events
yeah,
or out of town. And that will let me know how much I need to pour back into myself. But I
mhm,
try, well, actually, also, I'm kind of conditioned because I have the kids. I can't take long isolation times. Isolation,
yeah,
like, it's not a bad thing. It's really beneficial to you, but like you said, when you take those long gaps, it kind of shuts everyone out and they're
mhm.
like, where's she at? And then by the time you connect, it's like, girl, it's already solved. Or,
Right.
we already doing this thing over here. You're welcome to join us.
Yeah, they hit you with the "You're welcome to join." You stop getting invited all together, and it's like, "No, I like to come, just let me say no."
Yeah, that's the other thing too. Like allow people have to respect your boundaries. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You can
yeah,
say no, you can say "No, I'm
and
not
I don't
feeling
care
it."
if I say no 100,000 times, that 100,001 will be the one.
Exactly, exactly. So that is this is all very informative.
Yes,
Um
honestly.
yes. And so we did want to talk a little bit about what goes on in society. That's another thing that I love about you because baby, I don't be knowing what's going on in the world. I don't, because
I
my
do.
anxiety will take me there, okay?
I be telling
And
grandma.
yeah,
I keep her informed.
yeah. So I'm like, you gonna be my news channel. No, but
Tune
but
in.
yeah, tuning in today on the Carter Love Talk Show.
Mhm. What really grinds the shades gears?
So what I want to know is, how has what's going on in today's society directly impacted you and what you have going on in your life, and or what you're building, what you're working towards?
Nothing. Okay, that's not true. It's a really dramatic story, but it's not a long story. But that whole DOJ Trump thing, they was really messing me up. They was messing up the school systems. They was messing up everything. I recently had went and tried to get some fingerprints, and they stopped accepting new submissions for fingerprints. And you have to go through DOJ.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so they didn't accept the submission. Then when they finally did start accepting new submissions, something was, I guess, amiss with my submission, so they don't accept resubmissions.
Wow.
So for a long time, DOJ was messing with me getting paid and my money, and that was really effective. And then also, I happen to work for a Danish company, so when Trump was talking all that wild mess about trying to buy Denmark and having them join the United States, that was really wild business. So just to be working for a Danish company and then to hear that, and then also the tariffs
Yeah.
ruining my life. Ruining my life. I work in science. A lot of science components, a lot of equipment, a lot of consumables, all are things that come from across seas. So when you start taxing stuff and you start adding unnecessary stuff, and you're now messing with other stuff that you didn't even realize that you were even bothering with, and now you're messing with entire areas of markets that you didn't even know you were touching because you thought you were over here taxing China for immense other reasons, and then you read the back of a chemical bottle and it's made in China, and it's like, well, now this is going to cost a lot. So it was things like that, like if like me currently working in science, like realizing how tariffs were working, those conversations he was having with internationals, like me working in an environment where I'm working in with people who are international, it was just kind of like, what you're saying here isn't what's happening over there.
Yeah.
Let the internet say what they want. What's happening over there? They ain't saying the same stuff you saying. So they are laughing. So it's things like that. Like that like currently, like those small things have like oddly randomly impacted me, or been conversation pieces that we've had at work, because it was kind of like, well, tariffs are going up, so that means the chemicals are going up. And so now we're all looking at each other like, okay, well, now this is branching into, it's going to become a financial issue. And then if he really goes through with that, are we even going to be able to do business with these companies? Okay, where are we going to get this chemical? They're back. So it just turned into a whole lot of stuff. And then stuff starts getting back ordered. And then it starts really, really hindering markets that you didn't know was a problem. So
yeah, that makes sense.
Currently right now, that would be two things with our like government that's like affected me personally, like at this moment, like it almost stops the money coming to my pocket because of fingerprinting. And then the tariffs, because it was interrupting my current work that I do now, where now we're having to have conversations with vendors, and our vendors are sending us messages informing us of like, hey, this is what's going on, like the tariffs, blah blah blah. So when you start seeing those, you see it on TV, and then you start actually seeing proof of it, it starts to be like, oh, okay, this is real.
Yeah. This is for real.
This isn't for TV. This isn't what they say, fake news. This is real.
This is for real life, dude.
This is real life, dude. This is not for play. So yeah, that's probably one thing that I'm like, this is a lot, and I haven't kept up to date with like if he's actually gone through with the whole China tariff thing. But I know that it hasn't really shaken us too much at work. Like it was a conversation, like we were getting like companies were raring up for it, and then I think he backed down because we haven't been really bothered by it since, as far as I've been like seeing from our aspect, or it hasn't been extreme as what sounded like it was going to be. And then other than that, just the whole ICE thing happening in Sacramento, please
Yeah.
be aware of the ICE checkpoints and stuff like that. That's something that I like to make it a point as my boyfriend, um, Mexican American, his parents Mexican American, like,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that's probably two things I've like
Yeah.
harped on.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. And that makes sense. And I honestly, it's I mean, it's a lot, but it's I don't know, it's nice to hear it from your voice because again, I isolate myself. I am
Mhm.
like what is it called? I just put my blinders on because I have so much going on in my daily life, and I know that this stuff will affect me in some way, shape, or form after laws are passed and stuff. But I'm like, it just consumes me, and then I get stuck and I can't move. So my therapist was like, "I'll do the research and I'll let you know anything that's gonna affect you directly."
To me, and to me, I was like, don't utilize social media as your source of information.
Oh
Like
yeah, for
what
sure.
I like to do with my like Facebook accounts and stuff like that is I flood my algorithm with garden videos,
Yes.
Michael Jackson videos. So and I noticed that when you do like if you spend even 2 seconds watching a video for too long, that is going to feed into your. So stop
Yep.
clicking
Yeah.
on stuff that might over alarm you, or if you looking at something that's overwhelming you. I literally stop right then and there, and I go to my either my AI, which is a healthy source if you know how to use it, and
Yes.
I literally will ask it a
Disclaimer.
question, and I normally ask it if you could just give me a general source or
Yeah.
general information about this, and then I click on the sources and I go straight to the
Yeah.
internet of what it gave me. So then
Yeah.
now I'm not over consumed with all of this or trying to go through the comments to find more
Yeah.
information about
Yeah.
it. I'm just going to go through the internet and actually start confining my search, so
Yeah.
now I'm not overwhelmed by all the information on Google, because the first thing you want to do is like, okay, well, what do I look up? And then I look up, and most people only look at the very first thing they see on Google,
Exactly, exactly,
and now you're not really researching, you're just kind of like getting lost in the sauce.
exactly, exactly. And I think a lot of people don't realize that a lot of those top ones are there. People are paying for their stuff to be at the top, so the information may not even be factual, or
Yeah.
there it may be propaganda. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So you have to be careful with that. And for me, I just don't have it in me. I don't on social media, I don't look at that stuff on social media. On social media, you know what it is. It's the same
Yeah.
thing, garden,
About
herbal.
you, baby.
It's psychology stuff. It's Beyonce because I love me some Beyonce,
Love
you know,
Beyonce.
you know. So it's my feeds are very much tailored towards who I am and what I talk about and all the things. As far as news goes, like I used to have a trusted news station, but like now, is there a trusted news station? You know what I'm saying? I feel like it don't exist. Like you said, you have to do the research, but you also have to learn how to research scholarly so
Well,
that you're not diving into that.
and learn words. Like words have meaning. Everything doesn't mean the same thing. Understand tone and
Yes.
what that means. Like if you're listening to someone talk and they're saying something like, I can say that I'm happy, but did that sound happy?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Like I want people to like understand things like that. Like when you're reading something, like if you don't know a word, don't be embarrassed to stop and just like look it up
Yeah.
and circle the word. And phones are making it easy. If you have a Samsung, you can just click the phone and circle the word,
Yeah. Well,
and
same
then
with
you can Google it.
iPhones. If you press it, you can highlight it and you can hit look up. You can. You want me to
I'm a
show you?
Samsung for life.
Well,
Samsung
we have viewers who might have an iPhone. Okay, damn it, we got to let them know how to use it both ways.
viewers who have iPhones transition to Samsung, and all you gotta do is hold that thing and circle
He
it. It's
said
real,
that immediately.
real,
Pause for
real
your
easy. Just cross over to the light side.
service. But yeah, that's really good too, especially because what I've learned in school for psychology, a word in psychology may mean something different than it does in social, like in social studies, right? So
Mhm.
in politics. So
Yeah.
it's important to say, define
Language.
this word in politics. You know what I
Yes.
mean? What's the psychological definition for this?
Right, because you
So
might
it's
be
important
defining
to,
stuff like I always say my biggest thing is friend. The word friend doesn't mean the same thing to everyone. I think that
yeah,
is the best word example because you have people who will be like, oh, but we're friends with benefits. And it's like, well, what does that mean? Like, what's your
yeah,
definition of friend? You have some girl who will call this girl their best friend, or like
yeah,
the word friend to me is like the best example of that because it means so many different things to so many people. So you have
yes,
to understand the language behind it. And that's what like my biggest gripe to all my friends is language, tone, how
yeah,
you say something. How did they say that? Like, I don't mean to harp on it, but what did you say? Like, what did you mean by
yeah,
that? Like, and oh, you know what I mean. Anybody that responds like that, it's like, no, because the way I interpreted that, and then you go in to explain
yes,
how it was
yes,
interpreted. So that's for me
exactly.
is language is probably one of the most important things. And I think that's the most important thing we could be paying attention to in society right now is listen to how people are talking, listening to the stuff that people are saying, and then holding them accountable to what they're
Yes,
saying. One of the
yes.
biggest things that cracks me up about Trump to this day is they just be letting this man say whatever. It don't even gotta make sense.
Whatever he want,
It
whatever
don't
he
even
want.
gotta make sense, but somebody gonna come behind him and be like, well, he meant this. And that's why I don't appreciate the Secretary of State who like the person that comes and they do those interviews with their like journalists and
Yeah,
they give all of this message about like, well, the president meant that. And it's like, it's not what he said though. Like
yeah, yeah.
he said they were
Play
about to
that back.
buy.
Play that video back.
Yeah, like I was like, can I have my question back? Because she didn't answer that. Like it's things like that where it's like, I don't understand. Our society is hilarious right now. I'm not overwhelmed by any of it because I'm like, this was coming in 2008 when he tried to crack jokes on Obama. He
Mm,
currently now is claiming that Obama committed treason. So at this point, whatever you say, you have to Google it. Because if this
yeah,
man, what I've learned in this economy, in this society and this political run that we're seeing right now, is that you can say whatever you want because there are a lot of people out there who refuse to go and look it up. And it's not even look it up. It's I don't even need you to look it up. I just need
yeah,
you to go and actually listen to what was said and then cover their face. Take the connotation of how you feel about that person out of it
mhm,
and just ask yourself if you read that on a piece of paper, didn't know who said it, would you
yeah,
be okay with that? Like, would you
yeah,
be okay with this? If this was regarding to you, would you be okay with this?
yeah,
No. Like we talk about the illegals and it's like, well, how are we talking about illegals when you don't even know the illegal process? Like you don't know the process that they have to go through. So why are you demanding for people to go through something that you know nothing about?
exactly.
You know how long that stuff takes? You know how much
Yeah,
money they have? And you know
exactly.
what the dollar is like or the peso is like in Mexico? Like it's these things. It's like I'm not gonna argue with stupidity.
Yes.
I'm not gonna argue stupidity. I'm just gonna confuse stupidity by asking you a thorough series of questions that I know you don't have the answer to.
A thorough series is what she said.
Sorry, and then I'm gonna take a page out of Adia's book, and I'm gonna go back to question 169, and I'm gonna ask you that same question again to see if I get the same answer. And if I don't, then I'm gonna harp on that you are a
Yeah.
contradiction. That is how you argue with stupidity. You confuse stupidity until they no longer have an argument, and stupidity will always have an argument. But yeah, that's my cues on society.
Yes, yes. The society is, mm, is something else. But in the midst of all of that, between life be doing what it's doing and society's doing what it's doing, and we're all trying to live our way through things. What is a affirmation or a quote or something that gets you through that you can say to yourself?
Shout out to Sacramento City Church of Sacramento. Loving God is loving others. That is it. So,
Yeah,
in order for me to say I love the big guy up in the sky, I gotta love you too.
Yes.
So I have to be okay with you. But I can make the distinction that I can love from afar. So he didn't say I gotta love
Yes.
up close. He didn't
Yes.
say I gotta love you right next to me. He said that I just have to love you. And love
Yes.
can come in various ways if we see people in the world, and love isn't just one distinct defined thing. So when I hear that affirmation, I like to tell people, like, think about that. Like, if
Yeah.
you if you can love God, and God is supposed to be you, and he dwells within you, and you love you, that means to love yourself. And as much as you love yourself,
Yes.
then you can love other people. And if you
Yes.
can love other people, then you can find those distinctions to help people, to be more kind to people, to say something nice. Like, one of my biggest things that I always like to say is I always say thank you. I always say please. And I always try to make sure that I say that every single, it doesn't matter, even if it's a little thing. You could hand me the
Yeah.
same thing 3 times and you'll probably get a thank you every single time,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I feel like you'll never be able to hear that enough. You can never hear gratification enough. Like, I
Yeah.
feel like
Yeah.
people don't get that enough. So if I could pump that into the world to love God and to
Yes.
love others, and to make sure that Sacramento City Church understands that I took something with me, and
Okay.
I, with the big Lord, I took the big guy with me, and that to love God and to always love others. Because if you do not do those two things, then you're not going to prosper in this world. And that's why we're seeing right now our world is not prospering,
Exactly.
because we
Exactly.
only are loving ourselves and we're forgetting the other part that he asked for.
Mhm, mhm. And honestly, I don't even think we're loving ourselves. I mean, I'm loving
Mhm.
myself because
Yes.
that's what I do.
I
But
think it's a selfish love. That's why I said
yeah,
love comes
well,
in a various ways.
I think it's a survival love.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
not authentic. It's I'm
Yeah.
doing this because I feel like I need to do this to survive
For
because no one
me,
else is
yeah.
gonna do it for me, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Whereas
like, it's that no one's gonna love me but me type of mindset, type of energy. When
mhm,
it's like, no, that's not the truth. And I think that's where suicide and stuff comes in, where people's like, no one loves me, no, it's, you are loved. You just need to understand what that means, understand how
yes,
to how love can be transpired to you, and how you can absorb that and understand. And that's why, again, my affirmations, to love God. If you love God, you love yourself. And I don't mean my God, just my God. I
yeah,
mean
yeah,
who you choose to believe
yeah,
in, who you choose to, I choose to believe God manifests himself in various different ways, because he gave us free will. That is my
yeah,
true belief as a Christian.
mhm,
I truly believe that God manifested himself in various ways, because he understood that he gave us free will, and he gave us a mindset that we were going to grow and expand. And so he manifested himself in various different ways. But if we all look at any various religion or mindset, they all have the same foundation,
mhm.
the meat and potatoes, if you will.
Yes,
Like, we all have the
yes,
same meat and potatoes. So they
exactly,
all
yes,
share similar stories. They all have the same kind of idea. So that's why, for me, when I say loving God and loving others, I mean loving what you believe in, or who you believe is
yes,
gave us this good creation on earth, and is in manifesting for you, and take that into life, and to love others. And if you
yes,
can love that person or love that entity as much as you do, then you can take that to other people, and you can be just as
exactly.
kind, and you can be just as loving, and you can be just as helpful. Because, like, it breaks my heart when I see people step past a homeless person. Like, I purposely, and I shouldn't call them this, but I carry what I like to call homeless people dollars. Like, I literally strategically have money stuck off in my bag, in my car, doesn't matter
Mhm.
where, that if I have $1 and it's extra money, like, I don't like to carry
Yes,
money. So whatever money I do have turns into money that I end up giving away.
yes,
And I'm not rich. I don't got
yes,
money. Sometimes I'm just as hungry as they are. But to
yes,
me, it's like, I know I'm gonna have my next meal. I
yes,
know I can go to somebody's house and get me a bath or do these things. So do I really care for it now? And that's where, again, it settles in for me, to love God and to love others. And the only way that I can do that is to always pay it forward, and to always be an example. Like
yes,
my
yes.
big sisters.
Yes, I love that so much. I love that because that's what I always tell people. Human kindness is
Mhm.
human kindness, and I feel like that's something that we've gotten away from. Um, and so I think that's beautiful, and I think it just shows how beautiful your spirit is and your energy and who you are at your core. Because it like it exudes out of you, you know.
Yeah.
Um, so it's awesome.
Yeah, I'm
That's
trying
my
not
little
to
sister,
cry because
y'all.
I'm a grown man. Don't make me cry out here. I'm a grown man. Do grown man things.
I anticipated tears on my behalf during this episode. We have made it this far without tears, so
I got this close. I was close when I was telling you how much I appreciated you. I was trying to fight him back, so I started looking up over here, just looking into the light so that you couldn't see.
I think we did a great job. I mean, I don't care. I've gotten to a place where I don't mind crying in front of people because I need it. I've made myself my safe space. So if I need to cry,
man, I got a reputation to uphold. Grown men don't cry.
You better stop.
They call me a grown ass man in the streets. I can't.
In the streets, that's your name.
Mm-hmm. That's why I had to look up into the sky real strong, give you strong jawline.
So whoever's calling my sister a grown ass man, you can catch these hands. Okay?
Me, I'm calling me a grown man.
You can catch these hands.
I like to say that because obviously you could tell that I'm not, but you don't know that. And so we're going to make the world a beautiful place, but that's going to be something you hear so often you don't turn your head anymore. You don't turn your head anymore. You going to hear me say I'm a grown-ass man. You won't think twice about it.
So I don't say I'm a grown-ass man, but I do be like, what's going on? How you doing over there? You know?
That's given. Girls do it all the time. That's what I'm telling you. You a grown-ass man, you don't even know it. And stand on your grown manness. Stand on it. I stand 10 toes on mine. I sit at the head of the table to stand on mine. It doesn't matter what table it is. If I'm in a group setting, I will move my seat. And I think it's because I hang out with dogs. It's an alpha male thing. I just move my seat to the head of the table, and I'm like, all right, guys, let's do dinner.
I just imagine, how they put their hands on the table like this.
Anybody who knows me, I have conversations like that. I literally will only talk because I don't like to touch people either all the time.
What's your dinner?
Just finding, and I'm like, what's for dinner? Just like that. Fingers just as extended. I'm telling way too much about myself. This is nuts.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. The world needs to know Carissa Rogers. Okay.
These people are gonna see me in the streets and think they know me. You don't.
You don't.
You don't.
She's a dude.
You know my sister. I'm just in the background in case you want it.
Oh my God.
That's not how I fight. I promise. I said in case you want it. That's not how I fight, but I bring the energy when I need.
She got dogs, y'all. She'll sick her dog. No, I'm just kidding.
3 of them. Nugget, Millie, Daisy, and then I got 3 turtles. Macho Man, Randy, and Savage.
Oh,
my guys.
A little snapping turtle that's gonna come get you.
No, he weak. It's Macho Man and Randy. Randy.
Shh, they don't need to know that. No, just kidding.
I tell him every day. I need to pump love into him.
You're little, but you're strong, okay?
That's all I tell him. I'm like, you're little, but you're mighty.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so we're going to wrap up with my affirmations and then we are going to close out. I appreciate you guys for watching and being here with us as we talked about the beauty of mushrooms and sisterhood, and we dove into society and some of the things that we should be on the lookout for. Also, what I love, it's funny because I've just started my research class for psychology, but what I loved is we learned a lot about how to research so that we can better improve our lives, because research is so essential, especially with TikTok and Instagram and Facebook becoming people's news and information source. It's important that you learn how to fact check, and we've learned that during this episode.
You're gonna fact check your stuff next time and doubt everything until you have a source. You ain't got no
source.
Yeah, you don't have a source that you can trust. And what I mean by trust is I don't mean trust off your emotions. I don't mean trust off of what you think you know. Trust off what's fact.
Yes.
Or as what our father used to say, what I can put in my hand.
So, you guys, as always, remember that you are worthy, 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 worthy always. You are worthy of having factual information and letting that help you to make a credible decision that's for your life. You are worthy of connecting with yourself to know what's for your life. You are worthy of unconditional, pure self love that you can then utilize to love others to enhance your human kindness, because baby, that's what we need to empower one another and to elevate with one another. You are worthy of community. You are worthy of knowing what's best for you. You are worthy of great communication, right? Communicating with yourself, communicating with your loved ones, and building on that, asking questions. You're worthy of being curious. Curiosity is a beautiful thing,
Did
and you
not
are
kill the
worthy.
cat.
Yes, it did not kill the cat. And you are so worthy of all of those things and so much more. Until next time, my loves, thank you so much for watching the Carter Love Talk Show. Bye bye.
You know?
Yes. Okay.